I was talking about VisualWood being live, right? Because people wanted to see it live, and we probably would do it like, you know, Friday mornings like we're doing now. And I was like, man, you guys will get like the uncut version, man. Like, stuff happens in this podcast, and we're like, maybe we should cut that out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we should cut that out.
Too hot for YouTube on Twitch.
Oh gosh, yeah. So people who watch it live would probably get like the sweet version, the sweet buttery version. The sweet cheese is dripping off of that bread.
I don't think you ever got over cheesy bread.
Cheesy, huh?
And barbecue sauce and all these nice, delicious foods you're not allowed to eat.
Yeah, I'm not allowed. I choose not to eat these things because guess what?
Yeah?
I respect my body. Okay?
Oh.
My body is a temple, and whatever you feed, your temple is, you know, you can't have your temple trashy, man.
That sounds pretty new agey.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there you go. What is up, guys, and welcome to the VisualWood Podcast, episode number 36. 36! Woo! That's how old you are, right, man?
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, how old would you have guessed I was before you met me?
23, 24?
Damn, that's pretty ballpark. I knew a guy that I thought was genuinely like 40 or 50 years old, and then he turned out to be the exact same age as me, and it blew my mind. And I've known other people that have, like, sounded a certain way, and then they change their mic, and then they sound completely different. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I'm a little bit more wary around them. I'm like, oh, okay. You sound completely different to how I expected.
Oh, dude, that happens so many times in guilds. Like, someone who comes in, like, hold on, is that you? Like,
yeah, there's some guy with a horrible 1991 mumbly mic that you've never been able to hear properly because it's actually his old mobile phone jury-rigged onto his computer somehow, and that's his microphone. And then he gets a reasonable
echoing makes it sound like the person was older, you know, like, oh, yeah. And then they come into the thing, and they're like, hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Woohoo! Yeah, and you're like, oh, no.
Wow, Mickey Mouse was in your past guild, was 2 guild.
No, that wasn't Mickey Mouse. Oh, boy. That's Mickey Mouse.
Oh, my mistake.
It reminds me of the Jonas Brothers episode. I don't really watch South Park that much, but that Jonas Brothers episode was just too funny.
It was such a ludicrous.
Oh, again. like, oh my gosh. Oh gosh. So yeah. Anyways. So let's get tasty like early on in a podcast. Early on.
I have something special for everyone.
Ooh.
Last podcast, did you notice we made no mention of this last podcast at all?
I thought we did. I thought I mentioned it and we're like, oh, we forgot and blah blah. Or was that like the podcast?
That was the one before. That was the one before. Last podcast, we just completely mentioned it, and I realized I'd forgotten while we were recording it. But I was like doing a sly. I was like, no, I'm not going to mention this. I would just ignore it. One guy though, I also mentioned once. Nobody left any comments, so it doesn't matter. One guy though was like, WP, where is the Shopkeep audio thing? So
it was a couple people.
So I actually went out and I got it, and I warn you, it's I don't know. All right, so there's a bit of a backstory here, okay? I had nothing I wanted to go to the shops for, so I go downstairs and I'm like, Mum, look, I need something from the shops. Do you want me to go get you anything? And she's like, yeah, pick me up a packet of cigarettes. Now, I don't smoke, okay? And we've talked on the podcast before as well about the fact that there's all these different types of cigarettes that you can buy. I don't know anything. I barely even know the brand that she smokes, right? Just vaguely what the box looks like. And I've always usually refused or been grumpy about ever going to buy her fags. Like, this was something when I was much younger and I'd have to go to the shops, but I've never really done it that much. But, you know, I was faced with the opportunity here. I'm like, it's for the recording. I'll do it. And I guess you can just listen from there. This is a recording of me in the shops, trying to buy my mum a pack of cigarettes.
All right, everyone's gonna be able to hear it. I'm gonna insert it in. All right, let me hear it right now.
All right, here we go. Commencing Operation Record Someone Who Has No Idea I'm Doing It. Cheers, thanks.
No, sure. Tell her not to worry about that. If we can get that business.
Yeah.
Nothing like it.
139, please. Thank you very much.
And Roger, when we go there and have a look at this post office.
Yeah, I was going to say when you're,
Monday's bank holiday, so it won't be
1861. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Morning. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank
We get 20 Super King Smooth, if that's alright.
These ones.
No, Smooth.
Super King. When you say Super Kings,
Yeah, they got like an orange looking one.
what make are you on about then?
Well, they're for my mum, they're not for me. I don't know, I'd go for the Super King Smooth. I know she used to smoke them.
Because you can say 20 Mayfair Super King Smooth, but these are 20 Super King Smooth.
you should go after work.
Okay.
Or we do
Okay.
20 Players Super King Smooth, see?
Oh, it might be players actually. I remember they were like orange on the box. Yeah, the $5.99 ones left.
These ones.
That's the
They're
one.
king size.
Yeah, right, that's the one though. I'm sure that's the one.
Who's your mum? Does she come in here all the time?
Yeah, she's called Lorraine.
No,
Oh,
Lorraine, she has
that one.
those.
Yes, alright, almost.
Mary Janan.
Yeah, Mary's man. That's it. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Lorraine, we know who you're on about.
£6.25.
There you go, and £7.
Yeah, the Players Super King Smooth.
Alright.
That's what your nan has as well, isn't it?
You can tell you.
I actually have no idea, to be honest.
She told you I'm taking them lips.
75.
Cheers. Have a nice day. What a disaster.
Okay. Alright, we're back now. We're back now.
I am so ashamed of how
Okay.
badly that went. I like
That
ceased to function as a human being.
That was so good at the end. He's like, "Oh, who's your mom? Who's your mom?"
I got really
Lorraine.
worried because the worst thing about this, okay, is when I went there, my mum was like, look, they look like these. She was like, oh, they're just Super King Smooth. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go for that. And she wasn't buying it. The worst thing was the whole time I'm in the shop trying to like describe what they look like, holding in my pocket, I have the exact brand of cigarettes there, but it was too awkward for me to be like, oh, hold on, I've actually got some right here, and then pull them out and show them over the top of the counter. It was so bad.
Your mom gave you the pack of cigarettes to
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, so that I could be like, oh yeah, it's these ones here. But after I'd committed to the conversation, I was like,
But why would
I
they
should
ask
leave
you
it.
so many questions? Aren't you old enough to buy cigarettes?
yeah, and I certainly look old enough to buy cigarettes. I didn't bring my ID with me though, so I was getting a little bit concerned. Like, obviously it throws up a red flag if someone's like, oh, I want some cigarettes, but I don't know what they look like. And then I'm like, oh no, they're for my mum, they're not for me, I promise. Like, obviously they're going to think, oh, this is the kind of thing a 15-year-old would want. But you can buy fags at like 16, I think, in England.
Wow.
So,
They
you know, I'm
actually
well
use
over
that,
the age.
They actually use that word for cigarettes over there. I thought that was...
No, that's true. We also have like meatballs we use them as.
Oh, wow. Why? So
Meatballs
what type
are
of store was
faggots.
this? Because it seemed like one of those family stores that you walked into with like two shopkeepers.
Yeah,
Two women shopkeepers.
it's run by like Indians, I guess. But they've hired a few local people. A lot of people speak very Londony around where I live. And namely what you're hearing there is you're hearing me. You're hearing one sort of younger woman, blonde hair, and then a much older lady. Like, she's the one that chimes in when she's like, oh, I know your nan. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's who it is. And then she's who chimes in. And also you can hear in the background the guy who I think owns the place, who's like an Indian dude that you can sort of hear chatting away back there. And what did you think for like Britishness?
Wow, very British. So what type of neighborhood do you live in? Are you living in like a mixed neighborhood, or is it like just like straight up everyone's white?
Everyone's white. No, it's a mixed neighborhood. It's I live in what is
what I mean, because I've seen a couple of like places where there's like Jamaicans, a lot of Jamaicans, and like they speak like a different, I guess, how you say, a different way of British, a dialect of British.
Yeah, dialect or accent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like well, London itself is just a huge melting pot of loads of different cultures, and there's so much going on there. And where I basically live is close enough to London to be considered a London overflow town, and this means many years ago, as London filled up, many small villages and small quaint little places were built up to be much bigger, including where I live, and so much of that cultural diversity has also spread into here. So where I live, yes, you've got people like me, but you've also got very kind of London-y type people around here. There's a lot of Chinese people around here. There's a lot of Indian people here. There's a lot of Eastern Europeans that are here. That's generally my experience of England, though. I think you really only get a lot of, British people in the far north or maybe the far south. But even that, I can't say for sure.
So
yeah.
Now I have to do mine now. I have to do mine.
Yeah, please.
Mine is not going to be as entertaining for the U.S. people, but I
will
try.
For me. You have to do it on something awkward you're not comfortable about buying as well. That's like the standard now.
Oh.
So if you have to go in there and buy like a condom or something.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the same thing.
just go for that.
I'm just gonna throw a pack of Magnums in there and be like, can I buy these?
You have a Magnum on there. What's like small condoms? What even are that? What do they have a brand? I'm sure they don't have.
No, well, it's all Trojan, really. I mean, that's pretty much how it is. But I don't. Let's not.
Buy some really cheap, small, generic ones, and then the biggest you can find there, and ask the shopkeep.
Oh, dude, that's
which do you think I should go for? No, you just say which should I go for? You see, and then that's the awkwardness, and you see how the shopkeep reacts, and that's how it's entertaining for everyone else.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. I don't know if I have enough balls for that.
Well, if it's a dude behind the counter, then it doesn't matter. If it's a girl and you're like...
It's always a girl. It's always a girl.
Which would you prefer? And then, yeah.
Oh, dude. Oh, man, that would be so great if, like, a guy who's not interested into women... I don't know how to properly say that.
Gay.
Homosexual. Yeah. Well, people
Gay's
are like,
okay.
oh, you can't use gay. You got to say homosexual.
Have you ever met a gay guy that didn't want to be called gay?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. There's different types, though. There's like, people who, you shouldn't say gay in a bad term, or you shouldn't call me gay. I'm a homosexual, I have friends that are like that. And I was like, come on. Like, well, the friends I know, but they don't really care. They don't really care. They're just who they are. And then those are the ones I'm like, okay, see, you are who you are. You're not like, this is the way that you're supposed to call me, and blah 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 blah. Yeah.
I think most people prefer being called by their name rather than just gay.
Well, no. Oh my gosh, this is going to hell right now. This podcast is just going like crazy. Okay, you know what? Anyways.
How are we 15 minutes in? Like, is this because all the uncut racist stuff at the start is also still there?
That never happened.
Yeah, I'm sick.
Yeah, that never happened. Anyways, people listening to this podcast for the first time is gonna be like, "Wow,
why does this say Guild Wars 2? Why does it say Guild Wars 2 in the comments?"
Oh man. So you watch Chronicle, didn't you?
Yeah.
We need to pick a movie for each other. We didn't do that last week. We should do that this week.
Well, we still did. We hope.
Well, people, I say Chronicle because people know that we talked about it. So if you watched it when we talked about it, then we're gonna talk about it here. We're not gonna do any spoilers, right? Right, Tatos?
Yeah. Okay. But here's the thing. I don't remember everything you said, and I feel like you consider something a spoiler. Describe this movie to me. How would you describe it?
It's a found footage movie of a couple teenagers who stumbled on something alien and became superheroes, or sort of superhero. They got superpowers. It's a real look on if three friends got superpowers and what they would do with them.
What I was concerned with for you, because you're very, you got to preserve the people in the spoilers, is it's a found footage movie, and for the first maybe 10 to 15 to 20 even minutes of the film, it's very nothing weird is going on at all, and you really wouldn't have known where the movie was going. And then, of course, they find this thing on the ground, and then it becomes all about the superhero stuff. And I was curious whether you'd consider that a spoiler or not, because knowing that upcoming, it sort of does tarnish the start of the film. Like, for me, when I was watching it, when I got it, I saw, obviously, that the friggin' DVD box art is, like, crazy explosions and all kinds of ridiculous stuff. So, the entire time I'm watching the beginning of this film, I'm like, something's gonna happen, something's gonna happen, something's gonna happen. And, like, I knew where it was going, and I felt like that sort of robbed that bit of the experience from me. But yeah, like, that's just a small part at the beginning.
I don't think that it did for me. Like, the thing is, when you do one of those movies, because these movies have done that, where they do the trailer very vague, and you don't know what's going to happen. And all of a sudden, midway in the movie, everything changes. This is totally different than what the trailer or what anyone has said about the movie. You're like, whoa, 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 everything's changed. But the thing with that marketing, you know, if there's superpowers in the movie, people who like, you know, superpowers are going to go watch this movie. So they're going to have to show that. But I don't know if it really tarnishes it for me. It's
just
establishing
for that
the
first
characters.
little bit.
Yeah. All right, so what do you think about the rest?
I think it did some things really well and some things really bad. Like, being a found footage movie, it struggles. Like, I think that's a really cool gimmick, and if you can pull found footage off well, then it's really awesome. But I did feel a lot while I was watching this movie. They were like desperately trying to make it, oh look, we're seeing all the footage, it's always from a camera, and this meant that in a lot of the scenes they were adding arbitrary stuff there. Like, for example, at one point you see a guy goes to a girl's house and he's talking to her, and oh, what do you know, she's a vlogger, so she has a camera there, so we get to see it. And not only is she a vlogger with a camera, so we get to see it, but also there's a perfectly placed mirror right on the side of the door, so not only do we get to see his expression throughout the conversation, we also get to see hers. And I get why they would put that in there, but it's the whole way through the movie, there's just all these slightly too convenient things constantly happening that, I don't know, ruined the found footage. And sometimes they just break it completely. They're like, oh, okay, we've spent so long making all these stupid cameras everywhere so that it sort of works. And then they reach a point in a scene where they cannot feasibly have a camera, so they just cut away from it anyway. And they lose all the integrity of the entire idea. And it's like, oh, okay. So it doesn't matter.
I think
Go ahead.
I really do think it might have worked a little bit more. I mean, they would have to change a lot of the stuff if it was just a movie about it, right? Because it's you know, there's a scene when they're in the air, you know, and there's a tense scene going on. I'm not going to spoil it. And then there's a camera there. And I'm like why? Like, why? And then he mentions that there's a camera, like, oh, why are you recording this? Yeah, why are you recording this? Like, I could definitely see what you're saying. I kind of turned that off, really. Like, turned it off and just kind of...
You try and forget about it.
Forget about it, because it does break it a little bit. And I love the movie. And I can definitely see that. Go ahead.
They make it hard to forget, though, because later on, while you're watching it, towards the end, you start cutting to like footage from security cameras and from helicopters, and they put all the UI on there and stuff. And every single time you swap to a CCTV cam or something, boom! Once again, you're getting the fly on the wall experience, but it's reminding you of just how it's sort of shoddily done. They did do some stuff kind of well, like. The superpowers these people get, they become telekinetics, okay? They can move matter with just supernatural force, basically. And so one of these characters is damaged in a certain way, and he uses his camera everywhere, and it's sort of a part of his personality. They establish that he sort of uses it as a barrier in a certain way. And eventually he starts, at the start of the movie, they're having to do all these stupid things where one of the characters is never in the shot because that's the character that's holding the camera. But later on, they say, look, he's using telekinesis to hover the camera around, and now we get all these nice wide shots and perfectly panning zooms and stuff. And the answer is entirely because it's just the magic of the camera. I think sometimes it worked
other than the found footage stuff, what did you enjoy the movie itself? Forget about the found footage stuff.
I think it's the kind of movie a 16-year-old would write.
Wow.
I mean, come on, dude. It's all so cliche. It's all power corrupts. Woo! Who hasn't seen that story before? Please. It was okay, and it was entertaining at times.
I knew you were going to hate it. I just knew you were going to like it.
No. It had cool stuff. Like, there was that cool line where he's like, I am the apex predator. Boom! That was cool. And like the bit at the end with the statue and the spear, that was cool. There were cool bits to it, but there's also a lot of other cliche nonsense. Like another thing I really liked, I thought the acting was except the main character. I didn't like anything about the main character. Did you like him at all? You know, like the damaged character.
No. That's what I was gonna say. I love the black guy, even though he wasn't in it much. But I really, I watched another movie with him in it, and he was really good. He was really good.
Yeah.
But like, I talked about it last, the station one. Well, it's a real story or whatever. But I really, really enjoyed I remember his name, the emo guy, the guy who was slightly off,
Well, the main character was... There were three, right? You're talking about not the main character, the damaged one with the abusive father.
I guess he was...
They swap like who the main character is, don't they? If you think about it.
Yeah, they kind of do, because they swap between the white guy and then I love that guy. I love the emo guy. He's gonna be in Spider-Man 2, and I'm gonna watch it because he's in it. Because I just love the way he acts.
I thought the acting was amazing here, and with the found footage at the same time. I know we sort of moved on from it, but they make things look very, very natural. Like, it really does feel like in some of those scenes how it felt to just hang out with a bunch of your mates and just mess about with stuff. Except these people have got powers, and it's like... there's that sort of stereotype. You feel like you're invincible as a teenager. Like, you have these wonderful highs where just the world feels open to you and everything seems right. It's like these people have that feeling all the time because of this great gift they've had. And obviously then the movie delves further into what happens with it. But that's so realistic, and it was done very well from those parts. And I enjoyed that. Other stuff, though, the overall story...
I enjoyed it. I kind of cringed a little bit about certain situations that happen, but overall I really enjoyed that movie. It's just something about it. It might have been the same reason why I enjoyed Pacific Rim. Yeah, right? Pacific Rim, the story wasn't so good, but I don't know, just the experience around, it just makes me so giddy. For me, it just hasn't been done like the found footage superhero movie, even though the found footage part in some cases kind of broke the immersion.
But
of the movie.
I think without found footage, that film would have been nothing. As bad as it was implemented in places, without it, that film would have been nothing to me. It would have been just another generic sort of vague superhero. It really would have.
All right, so what are we gonna do next week? Is there a movie that we should tell everyone so they can actually watch it?
We should have had an idea of this before we recorded.
Yeah, we should have, huh? We should have.
All right, what was the film you most recently watched? And I'll give you the film I've most recently watched.
Well, all right. Well, I didn't watch a film, like a real life film. I watched an anime movie. Well, it was more of a series. I watched Berserk again. They came out with a new version of Berserk, and this is an anime that was really, really good. And then it gets really weird at the end. Like,
that sounds like an awful lot of anime.
yeah, but it gets really crazy at the end. I'm not gonna spend too long on it because we spent a lot on Chronicle, but they replaced some of the music, which I was kind of sad about because I liked a lot of the music in the old Berserk anime. It was a good film, very gory. A little weary about the 3D effects in Berserk, but I thought it was really good, and I enjoyed myself, even though the ending is straight up crazy. But at least it kind of showed a little bit more. I felt like the Berserk anime kind of ended abruptly. But there you go. Berserk,
this is what I'm watching then.
No. You don't have to watch this. We gotta think of a film.
I've got a film for you.
You got a film, really? Okay.
Yeah, I've got a film for you. A while ago, I was gonna watch this. I never got into it. I turned it off. So I'm telling you now to watch it.
Oh gosh.
Because apparently it's a classic. A much loved film. I just didn't have the patience for it at the time. Okay.
All right.
So you're gonna tell me whether it's any good. That's Tombstone, which is a 1993. I believe it's a western. Tombstone. Okay.
Tombstone. Oh my gosh. What are
that's your film of the week.
All right. Have you ever watched Office Space?
No, I haven't watched Office Space.
You need to watch Office Space. You need to watch it. That is the movie. So we have Tombstone,
And Office Space.
And Office Space. There it is, guys. We made sure we told you this time.
And you can join in at home too by pressing the red button now.
People actually, because people are like, "Oh, where's the movie club?" We don't know if you guys like it or not. I know some of you don't care, and all you guys care about is Guild Wars 2. But like,
dude, they skipped this already. They looked for the timestamp in the comments, and it was like,
well, there you go.
it said that it was about 28 minutes into the podcast that we began Guild Wars 2, and then it skips maybe to the questions later too.
Amazing. Have you played any games this week other than Guild Wars 2? I've been no-lifing Guild Wars 2 recently. So
I have been playing, as ever, Dance Dance Revolution.
What?
And I'm becoming a bit of a master at it.
Oh,
not gonna lie. I don't think... Alright, I feel really good and like I'm amazing at it, and then I watch videos of other people doing it. And number one, it makes me realise I'm not that good, and number two, it makes me realise how stupid I look while I'm playing it. Because you see these people doing all these insane songs, and it's like they're better than me, and they look bad while they're doing it, and it's like, well, I definitely don't look better than them, so why am I still playing the game? To get as good as that and still look dumb anyway? Like, but it's fun. It's a fun game, and I'm still going. There's actually
always
Disney
been a
songs.
wall. It's always been a wall. It's like when you watch Hearthstone, it's just like, should I even play Hearthstone? I watch Trump, and he just knows exactly what to play, makes perfect plays most of the time, and it's just like, should I even play? Like, I'm never gonna be that good. Like, but then you can't really think. You gotta just have fun with the game, can't you?
I've been quite fascinated by the idea of playing 2 video games at once recently. And like, even the idea of streaming it and doing like double speed runs at once. It's just like, how quickly can you complete a full sweep of dungeons in Guild Wars 2 while also doing an arena run in Hearthstone? And I think Hearthstone's a great game that you could play while playing something else. Imagine this, right? This is a genius idea. I don't know why it doesn't exist, and if it does, someone please tell me where I can buy one, right? Imagine a pedal you can press down with your foot, a bit like a clutch in a car, right? And while you have it held down, your mouse and keyboard is now inputting onto your second monitor, and you have 2 games full screened at the same time, and then it's like you're playing a piano. Think about it. You hold the pedal down, you're inputting into Hearthstone. You lift it up, you're inputting into Guild Wars 2.
Wow.
Instantly. You see that? You can visualize it?
Yeah. That's like some gaming mounts. Not mounts. Mouses do.
Mounts on the brain.
You press shift. Oh, well, that keyboards as well. You press shift, and then you could just, the whole keyboard is you can map it up to anything you want. Like 1, 2,
it's got to be a pedal.
To something else. Yeah, a pedal would be much better.
I need the piano effect.
Oh yeah, insane.
Only then I will be happy. It must exist somewhere, or there must be some way you can ghetto do it and make it work somehow.
Some people, what they do is they use the pedal and they map it to your shift button. It exists. They map it to your shift button.
And then holding shift down swaps the input on all of them.
On your keyboard, but not for like another screen. That's the thing.
Yeah. I know that like Linux can multi-box. It can basically it can throw out multiple keyboards and mice all connected to the same computer, and every single monitor you have equipped, plugged into it, functions as its own PC. I used to mess about with that a lot. That was one of the main reasons I got on the IT apprenticeship I was on, because I could be like, yo, I know all this weird stuff about the way Linux distributions work and all the weird stuff I've fiddled about with. Don't remember any of it anymore, and I still get emails from these people. This was like back in 2008 I used to deal with this. I still get emails from this like terrible company that's clearly earning no money saying, hey, you were once a customer of ours, are you interested in upgrading? And I'm like, no, get off my mailing list, go away.
I see that from ESO, dude. He's like, oh, pre-order now, please join us in the fight. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm
sub to a guy who does very atmospheric videos on different climates and environments in Skyrim, just main series Elder Scrolls games, and he put out one on the MMO that actually looked really good. I didn't realize the environments in that game looked as good as they do, and I'm sure he was just cherry picking the best stuff that the MMO has to offer, but ESO actually looks quite nice environmentally at least, and he had everything else turned off, but it's not enough to get me to play.
I usually see the thing is I usually play every single MMO throughout, like all the way to the end game. I just love doing that, and I want to do it for ESO, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to take the plunge. I might do it for WildStar since it's like another NCSoft game or whatever, and I might try it on that because a lot of people are waiting for that, especially people who have listened to us and stuff. So I might play through it, get to Elder Games so I can talk about it. But man, there's so many games, so many MMOs coming out recently. That's
Arcade is getting a bit of stuff going on as well lately.
But I don't like the combat though. I like the features, but from what I've been watching about Arcade, I don't like the way it's set up. You know, like once you play Guild Wars 2 and then you see something like Terra or, well, I haven't seen much of Terra, but Terra seems to have some really good combat. Terra and Black Desert. Black Desert. I was seeing some I guess brawler sorcery gameplay, and she was in a dungeon and she was just doing all these combos that look like straight out from an anime. It just looks amazing. And then there's movement, there's positioning, there's attacks that like it really makes you feel powerful, and it feels like you're doing damage. You know, you're like you feel like you're not the character, but like you feel awesome. And it's always good to feel awesome when you're playing a game. And definitely the impacts. I love impact in games, and that's kind of why I played throughout Neverwinter MMO. When that came out, I played all the way into Endgame, and I did a few things for Endgame and just stopped, just like I always do, it seems. And it's the same way, that the impact when you hit something, it's really good, really good.
See, for me, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, the animations mean a lot, but don't you eventually just start looking past the animations and just ignoring them, and you might care more about the damage you did, or you know, the specific encounter stuff rather than the flashiness?
No, I don't think so. It's the same thing with Gears of War. With Gears of War, I love the way you just pull that trigger and you explode someone. Or the impact of just like mailing someone in the face. Like that whole the rough feeling of Gears of War was just, it's just perfect. And I never get tired of popping someone's head off and hearing that sound, and the way it looks as you see the impact of the sniper bullet blowing up someone's face. It's good, and you never get tired of it. You really don't.
This sounds a little disturbed.
Dude.
I kind of want to loop what you just said. I want to play it back and loop it. You can never get tired of the feeling of exploding someone's brains out the back of the head. Yes!
The head is gone. The head just, it's gone. And you can just, what we call it is body. Oh, dude, I bodied you. Like, you do some wall bouncing and then boom! Someone just...
Is that just like a you guts. And your friend's specific term? Or
no, everyone says that. I don't know where it came from. I don't know where it originated.
Body.
But it's called bodied. Damn, you got bodied! Yeah, people, we talk a lot of trash in Gears of War, dude. Oh, man. I miss Gears of War. I miss that. But the new ones have
How
been
did that franchise go? Yeah, like, because I remember it was like a system seller for the original, for the 360. Everyone loved it, and then I think the second was okay too, and they did like a cool like
the second one was good.
Invasion zombie style mode, didn't they?
The third one kind of just like it kind of
did nothing,
watered it down a bit, and then Judgment they just killed themselves with Judgment. Like I'm pretty sure like all the old gearheads don't play it anymore. They don't play it anymore.
That makes me really sad.
They probably play between 1, 2, and 3. They probably play 3 because that's probably where the majority of people are at, but people still play 2. I don't know if they shut down the servers yet, but yeah, people still play 2.
Here's a weird question. What was your first ever experience of going back to a game and finding it dead, or finding just dead online anywhere? Like you mentioning that just now made me think really clearly of my first experience of that. I'm curious if you've got one too.
First experience of finding it dead. I'm trying to really find the first experience. It has to be one of the old PC games. It's definitely not Halo. Halo still had a bunch of people on there.
Mine was probably quite new, but it was Conker's Bad Fur Day for the original Xbox. Obviously, it was an N64 game, yes, and then it was ported to the Xbox. I played the Xbox version, the lesser version. I still thoroughly enjoyed the game, but when they ported it to Xbox, they had a multiplayer mode on it, and it had really what looked like really cool multiplayer. I used to play it with my friends and bots, and you'd name all the bots and stuff like you would in Worms. I remember finally getting it online and playing on live, and just being crushed that no one was playing it, because it had these huge maps, like 16v16 players with tons of vehicles and stuff, and just everything was empty and dead, and there was like 5 players worldwide on it. And it was at that moment I realised, damn, these games won't be here forever, and I was a changed man.
This is definitely not like the first one I experienced, because I've experienced a lot, because I've played some really obscure games, especially on Xbox and PC as well. Or you just go in and just nobody online. Brink was one of them, but that's not recent. That was years ago, but it's not recent. Brink was one of them. When you went back, no one's playing. Even at launch.
Don't tell me Brink was years ago. That seems really weird to hear.
Yeah, right? Isn't it weird? Yeah, it was years ago, man.
No, I haven't got any older.
Sacred 2 kind of got deserted after a while as well. You know, a lot of those games as well. I'm pretty sure some old PC games. Some people will be able to chime in, and I'll be like,
any
yeah,
like old
that
Flash
one.
games you'd play at school, and then
dude, I used to play
disappeared.
Quake. I used to play Quake at school constantly. I think I've mentioned that before.
Did you used to play Line Rider?
Yes. A lot of people used to play Line Rider.
That is where it's at.
Yeah, man.
Apparently, there's a version of that for the Android now.
What?
And it sounds like probably the best app you could get for Android, especially with like the touchpad and oh my god,
so good. Yes. All right.
Do you want to talk about crazy people lashing out?
Why did you even put that in there?
Because I thought it was cool. Like, and we've shared a few videos this week. I don't know what to.
Oh, that's right. Well, we didn't talk about it this week. All right. We had 2 videos shared to us. 2 separate YouTubers. So we had one that was extremely mad that Obama won, right? That we would listen to today, which was just crazy. Just crazy woman going nuts because the people on YouTube didn't share her like videos.
She seemed to think that if she made a video, she was mad at people and telling them to get the F off the internet because they were only liking her videos and not sharing her videos. And this was somehow going to change the election in a huge way. And she's like freaking out. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then we also had this other guy,
Tommy Sayatomota.
Yeah, where he's basically this racist of his own color. He's black. He's a black guy, and he's just so racist to black people.
Dude, this for people out of the loop, last podcast we were like saying, oh, I wonder if anyone's ever lashed out at their audience. This guy goes crazy, absolutely insane. I'm so happy that person linked it to us. He gets to the point where he ends the video. Okay, so he's ranting in the video, screaming about how just black people are terrible and do all these atrocious things and basically should be slaves and stuff, right? In this crazy rant.
Don't watch my videos if you don't like it, blah, blah. Calling out specific users on YouTube.
Yeah, this is like the most offensive thing. And then the best thing about it, though, is after he's done his crazy rant, he edits on to the end of the video, presumably way after the fact, when, you know, he's had time to cool off and really think about it. And in the edited thing at the end, what does he say? He basically says, please never make love to a black person so they will never have babies so that they will die out.
One of the ones I was like, oh my gosh. One of them was like, he tells white people to, if you ever see N acting out, to please take a gun if you have one and please put them out of their misery.
This is ridiculous.
Black people out of their misery. He tells people not to mate with other black people, and he's black himself, and he has a wife, and I don't know if his wife is black,
and a kid,
and it's crazy. He got himself in so much trouble that someone put his grandmama's house on Craigslist, dude, saying that, go get free stuff.
And got all these Mexicans to turn up.
Yeah, no lie. And he goes like he makes a video and he goes crazy in that one too. Oh my gosh.
I guess we're just as bad now, by the way. His video was about him bashing people who were taking time to bash him. And I guess we're now a part of the problem. How does that make you feel?
I hope this video doesn't get sent to him and then he makes a video about us.
Oh, that would be the funniest thing ever. Can you imagine that? He listens to the whole podcast and just singles on this tiny
I can tell
seconds.
he's just going to go straight for me. This light skin mother N is talking trash about me. Oh, nah. Oh, nah. I keep telling you about these black people. I keep telling you all these damn Oreos. And then he's like, you just go, oh my gosh. You just go
Your
crazy.
impression's really good of him there. Really good.
Oh, I don't want to go full. I don't want to go full Soyo. I don't want to go full Soyo. Is that, I think that's his last name, Soyo? Tom Soyo?
Sotomayor or something.
Sotomayor. So there it is. Well, there you go, guys.
It's thoroughly entertaining. If you are prone to offense, seriously, don't watch it because he covers everything. He bashes religion. He bashes. He's very outward about his political views. Incredibly racist the whole way through, and just on a personal level, a despicable person.
Yeah,
though very eloquent. I'll give him that. He can really spit out some insults.
In one of the first videos, he almost sounds like Bernie Mac. And it was the most hilarious thing. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this guy's Bernie Mac, but a crazier one. Oh, it's so funny. But yeah, well, see, guys, yeah, definitely. If you're easy to defend, don't watch it. He curses
but
a
otherwise,
lot. Don't watch it around your kids. Please don't. This is not one of those things where, oh, your kids won't understand. No, your kids will hear this and understand. There's a lot of language, a lot of
your
dirty
kids
remarks.
will be broken for life.
I'm not really easily offended about stuff. I laugh about everything, so as you can see. But so yeah. So just be careful, guys. Be careful if you Anyways, Chinese launch.
This is the first of the bongs?
Bong!
I wished so. Okay, as I said that, I held both my hands up to the side of my head in fists, and then I looked across my desk, right, and I had this overwhelming compulsion to make a real bong noise. Near my left hand was a spoon. Okay, this doesn't help the image of me living in a trash heap.
And
on my right
cups.
hand... Right on my right hand is a glass pint cup, and I really wanted to bang them together, hoping it would make a bong sound.
You just break. Oh, dude, I wish it broke. I wish it just like it shatters. Oh my gosh, yeah. So there you go. That's a very messed up bong there.
So this is a bit of a big topic. Really, this is the biggest thing going on with Guild Wars 2. Imagine you were Chinese. This would be a huge week. The Chinese launch has come around. It came around, I guess, by the time this is uploaded, almost a week ago. What do you know about it, Matt? What, have you been keeping up at all? Do you know how it's sort of functioning over there?
People have been telling me about the Chinese launch and basically the rioting. And there was this post on Reddit talking about people complaining about the VIP system and all these, because it's a different game entirely, right? It's a different publisher because it's not, ArenaNet's not controlling it. And I heard that there's nothing they can really do about that. It's just, they have to give it up to the publisher and they do whatever the heck they want with it. It's different rules over there in China. So it's being changed into this different game entirely, and it's totally separate from US. Like, people are like saying like, oh, it's not even released in China yet. And I was like, guys, it's not. I've said it on the podcast. It's not going to change anything if it's released in China. We're just going to get more people, I guess, and more money for ArenaNet maybe. But like, it's not going to change anything over here in the US because they're totally separate games. The China people, yeah.
The only thing that it could be good for is there could be stuff left over in there that will be hints at future stuff for us. For example, there was footage before the feature patch came out of the Shadow Behemoth fight, and it showed that there were like 13 portals in the swamp. Everyone's like, whoa, they updated that for China, that's cool. And then on the feature patch, that is exactly how the Shadow Behemoth changed with the world bosses. It was something we could see was in their client and then came over to us, and there could in theory be more things like that. But there are so many changes all over the place. UI obviously is a huge one. Like the color of crit damage is no longer red because red could represent blood and you can't have blood or bones and stuff. Like, it's crazy. There are so many differences. One I found really interesting, though, is they have an assured way to get precursors in the game that don't come out of the Mystic Toilet.
Right. You have to use the VIP system.
It's VIP, which is kind of, you know, pay to winny. But I gotta admit, man.
Why is it pay to win for a skin? It's a damn skin. There's no stat. There's no. What are you winning at? You're winning at having a skin?
Do you think if ArenaNet said, all right, you give us 200 gems every month for the next 8 months and we'll give you a precursor, people would be happy with that?
No, because people complain about anything. I mean, yes.
Would you be happy with that? Would you give them the 200 gems?
200 gems every month?
Every month for 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, I would do it.
I would probably do it as well. But I think I would complain. I think it would be a really cheapy horror. I would much rather than see them put precursors as an assured way to gain in a different way, you know?
200 gems. You could pay for that with in-game gold easily. Easily. How much is 200 gems in gold? In gold. I mean, it's nothing.
It's less than 100, I think.
Yeah.
It might be more than 100.
And that's what, a day's work? Are you kidding me?
No, well, no. Let's be real here. 100 gold
for
is at least 3 days of grind.
For a regular person, right?
If you're doing dungeons and you're doing them well enough that you can do pretty much all of them, it's like 3 days for 100 gold. I'd say.
Is that
so? 3 days out of a month.
3 days. And if you're playing the game already, who cares? Is that an easier way to get it?
I think it would be maybe a more fun way to get it. Really long-term way to get it, but more fun than RNG. I can't stand the RNG we've talked about on the podcast. So I would do it.
So it is going to be 19 gold for 200 gems.
No, that can't be true, dude.
Yes,
19
it is.
gold for 200 gems.
Yes, it is.
Don't forget, it doesn't convert the same way. You can't change gems into gold at the same rate that you change gold into gems. It's different values.
Why would I do that? Why wouldn't I just change gold into gems right now? It's 19 gold for 200 gems.
Really? You're in game right now, and that's the value?
Yes, that's the value. I told you it's extremely cheap. I've been buying stuff. Yeah, it's extremely cheap. Who cares about the VIP system? It doesn't
That's less than
matter.
a day. Yeah.
Yes, you could get that in a couple runs. You could get lucky with a drop and get that. Like who? Like,
for
I don't
us
get
again, though. Remember, at launch it was harder.
Well, yeah, definitely. I'm saying if they bring it over here. Oh, don't mind my alarm.
Oh,
don't mind my alarm.
For once, it is not me making the noise. I have been making a bit of noise, not gonna lie. But this is a big one. I have not dropped the ball as far as that's concerned so far while recording VisualWood. How do you feel, sir?
That's for streaming. I have those alarms just in case I don't, I'm not doing something. I get wrapped up into editing while I'm like getting ready to stream. Anyways. It's not that much. And if you were to bring it over here, I would not complain, not one bit. I could care less. I would do it. That's like what? I don't know, like 250? Not even 250, like 225, $2.25 in US currency.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how the values would change. I'm not even 100% sure on the 200 gems things. This is mostly hearsay. But I think it's pretty assured that that's sort of the ballpark that we're working with. Basically, the way it works, guys, is you subscribe to be a VIP guy by spending an amount of gems. I believe it's 200 a month. And then every time you complete a daily while you're a VIP, you get VIP experience. And when you have enough VIP experience, you level up. When you get to level 20... you get the precursor, and it seems like it would take about 6 to 8 months worth of subscriptions and dailies to get the thing. But I think you sort of take it for granted that people are getting their dailies each day anyway, right? So I didn't think it was worth mentioning.
Yeah.
And that's like a big thing with the Chinese client that I found kind of interesting. I liked that they had the head start so much longer. What do you think about that? We had 3 days head start for pre-order players. They've got 15. Do you think that's good or a bad thing?
I don't know if it's
the
bad
official
thing,
launch
but like,
isn't
it gets
for
people
ages.
to like buy the game, I guess. It's like, oh wow, play the game now.
Well, no, that's the thing though. These Head Start people are, our Head Start people are capped at 1 million users. Their Head Start people are capped at 500,000 users, and that was sold out already instantly. It was sold out before ages ago.
Wow, holy
so
crap.
500 players have 15 days to play Guild Wars 2 before anyone else can even think about getting in the game.
Wow, that's
I think World of Warcraft
that's a lot
did
of
the same
cash
thing
flow,
too.
man. I hope ArenaNet uses that for some like really good stuff. Holy crap. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
it's crazy
I'm pretty
if
sure
you
it's
think
gonna,
about
China's gonna take some. The publisher in China, what was it? Kong something.
Congo something games.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone told me very recently. Kong Zong, who handle Guild Wars 2.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's big stuff. It's fun to watch people doing the streams. What does it mean for us?
I saw Blue streaming the PvP, and he was just, oh my gosh. He was just killing all of them with the necro condition.
Wait, he was streaming China PvP?
Yeah, he got someone with because all right, so I guess in Korea I know this exists that you have to use your social security number, but I guess in China you can use just your ID.
Okay.
And then you can create an account, right? And someone buys it and you create an account. That's I guess a friend of his did that had a Chinese ID, or maybe someone who's over here, or he used a friend's account, and he was playing PvP in there, and he was just killing everybody.
That's amazing, really.
Yeah, because
are
it's
you
just
exaggerating
like all
how
over
easily
again.
he was killing them? What was he playing to just wreck them?
Necro, and he was doing conditions.
Necro, right.
Like, it was just crazy conditions, because people are just, they don't know what to do. So just, they're attacking you, auto-attacking, and trying to do their skills and stuff, and yeah.
I sort of miss that. There's no opportunity to wreck noobs anymore. You get the odd noob and they get called out.
Yes, there is, dude. There's a lot of new people who came into PvP recently, and it was fun.
I guess. But it's not the same, is it? You're not wrecking people like Blue sounds like he was.
Oh, he was barely, he was yawning while he was playing, and he was just wrecking people. He was like, I actually killed someone. He was actually not even paying attention. He was capping a point, and he got distracted by something, and there's a thief just down on the floor. It was the most hilarious thing. I was just like, wow. He's just not even paying attention. That's how easy it was. That's how easy it was. Yeah, man. Yeah. So there you go. China launch. Woohoo. Hopefully this is going to be bringing expansions. So maybe that's why, you were saying like, oh, next year there could be an expansion because of what the investors said. So maybe the China launch is going to give them enough money, and that's why they have it pointed for next year.
Oh, someone did call me out on that statement I made, by the way.
Yeah.
Apparently, those investors have said that every single time they've done an analysis of ArenaNet. Every single time, apparently, they've made that same statement.
Wow.
An expansion is due next year.
Well,
We thoroughly believe one is coming.
That puts a damper on my...
It either means they're full of poop,
and
it either means they're full of just absolute rubbish and they should be ignored, and it's actually kind of really worrying that there would be such inaccuracies for people putting real money into this kind of thing. Or it means every time they have visited ArenaNet, they have legitimately thought at that time, yeah, we will have an expansion coming up, we promise you. And every time it's been pushed back for this reason or another. I don't know which of those two I prefer, honestly. Because the idea of them always having the intent is good, but if they're always failing to meet it, is not. So,
I know we've mentioned it before, but it's just like when is the season 2 gonna be launched? Like, we don't know anything. Like, Arena has been so quiet with us, no emails, no nothing, and I'm like, man.
Do you feel like you could email them now though and be like, hey, like I'm fighting it. I'm really fighting it. I feel like I can email them and say, hey, yeah, I know I said that I didn't want any information about anything in the future because it ruined videos on my channel, but as a fan of the game, I really want to know what's going to happen, so let's talk, yeah, shall we?
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, but what if it's like...
Who is E? And go on like that.
What if it's just like disappointing, or what if it's just like not what you expect, or not to the standards? It's just like, then maybe we should have not spoiled it for us.
Well, be disappointed now rather than later.
That
gives you time to like quit and pack your bags.
I'd rather be just excited. I think I'll wait because last time I was like, oh, this is really cool. This is really cool. But then like when it came out, it's just like, oh, I already knew that like this was gonna happen. But I guess it didn't really spoil it for me much. I just couldn't talk about it That was the only downside from it. So maybe I could go for it. Yeah, maybe I could.
Well,
go
look,
for it.
if you do it, you've got to bring me on as well. We might have this weird schism soon where I can't see anymore, and then you learn all the secrets coming up for the game. We have this weird power shift, and I'm like cowering. And you can threaten to spoil everything for me.
What do you think about them introducing Tengu a lot more, like into the story, but them not releasing them as a race? Just like, you know, adding them into
Getting
the
people
game
ready.
a little bit more. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, why not?
No, yeah. Like, you know, there's a character, like a strong character as a Tengu. You know?
Yeah,
that's
I can
added
see
to the
that.
mix. You know, I think that would be pretty cool and add a little bit more interest into the living story for sure. Definitely. Fighting alongside of Tengu and stuff. That would be pretty cool.
How do you think people would feel if instead of giving the Tengu, they gave us a different race first? And even better than that, it's not even a race we've met yet. They just throw it in there like they threw in the Karka.
I'll be totally
themselves
fine
in.
with that. It doesn't have to be Tengu for me. I just know that a new race will bring new areas, and I just want to explore again. Because I have been having tons of fun. We were mentioning this before the podcast. Like, I was doing a bunch of jumping puzzles for my monthly and finishing my achievements, right? I'm getting all the jumping puzzles. I'm trying to get my achievement points back to where it should be, over 10K, probably get, you know, to 15K. And I've been doing all the jumping puzzles on stream, and it was a blast. It was a blast to explore these areas that I haven't explored yet, or I haven't explored in quite a while, probably since beta. And man, I always talk about, I love the world. I love when I'm leveling in Guild Wars 2, I always sit back and I take a few seconds to look at each map, and I'm like, yes, and finding these little hidden crevices here and there. So good, amazing, and I love it. I love it because of that, and now because of the mega server, there was a lot more people there, and that was great.
Are you seeing the fruits of the mega servers this week then?
Oh yes,
because last week we were sort of like, okay, the cities are more populated, but the maps not so much.
Yeah, because they just kind of released it when we're recording that. They fully released it like that day, you know, so, or the day before when we were recording. So we probably, you know, wasn't working too properly yet, and only for some of the maps. So now they're all over the map, and yeah, I've been seeing a lot more people around, walking around, doing random stuff, even level 80s. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing here? Some of them, you know, leveling parties and just having, it seems like people are enjoying them, and more people in map chat as well. So,
yeah, and that's both good and bad. My eye was twitching. I was in Queensdale doing jumping puzzles. Like, I had very much the same experience. I did it exactly on monthly reset, and there were players at every single jumping. I've already told Matt this, but every single jumping puzzle I went to, there were like at least 3 people, upwards of 8 people. Every single one I went monthly reset over. It was so good. But I was running around in Queensdale for a while, and man, the map chat there is
bad.
Ugly. This guy was like raging about how the game has no end game and how it was ridiculous that Mesmers could use pistols while Rangers, the ranged class, can't. And I was just like crying. He was spitting out all this terrible misinformation that wanted me to slam my head against my desk constantly.
Oh, dude, there's many of them, man. There is many.
And it's horrible because it's a low-level zone, so you get legit new people coming into the game. Game's on sale again, guys. Woo! I saw a thread on Reddit, just generic Reddit, not like Guild Wars 2 subreddit, just game deals. And it was, hey, Guild Wars 2's on sale. And a lot of just very neutral people who have heard of the game but haven't played it, saying, hey, is this worth buying? And it was really interesting to see those perspectives of those players who were interested to come into Guild Wars 2. Many of them say, yeah, it's on sale, fine, I'll try it, there's no sub fee. And then and it's nice to think that those people are coming in the game, and then you see what it's like when they finally get in and they get into Queensdale map chat. You get these utter misguided morons that just put this horrible damp cloud over people's heads. If you've just started playing Guild Wars 2 and just started listening to us, please don't listen to any fools. Make your own conclusions, like, about how you feel about the game as you level through.
Please do.
I say don't listen to any fools except us. Yeah.
Yes.
You want to listen to us. We're bang on the money with what we say.
We're fools too. I mean, I would assume it goes without saying. opinions are opinions, and you should probably make your own conclusions regardless. Yes, if you agree with us or if we make good points, then yeah, sure. But, you know, don't blindly follow some idiot or whatever,
or,
you know. Yeah, huh?
Or do blindly follow an idiot. It's a lot easier.
Yeah,
if you just hear someone, you know, talk kind of angry, hit their fist to the table every now and then and say, this is wrong, they should not have the VIP system, you know, you can just sort of bandwagon on with that and not really think for yourself. And actually, it's quite a fun way to go through life.
Right, I could have just totally say, you know what? Yeah, dude, I would have been mad if the VIP system was in. When really, no, I wouldn't. You know, it's just different views for.
If it sounds like a lot of people in the room are agreeing with one another as the sentiment is made, you should probably agree too, because then you know you're in the majority.
Yes,
and,
life lessons here on VisualWood.
Can't go wrong.
Yes, yeah, you can't. So,
all right, okay, listen, I have to tell you this. When we started talking about the jumping puzzle thing, I went, oh, right, do you remember that? I don't know if you picked up on me do it. Okay. The reason I did that was because our conversation had led into the perfect segue onto this next topic, and then you started talking, and I realized you also had a perfect segue into the jumping puzzle topic, right. And now I'm left up for nothing. So we're going to pretend the jumping puzzle thing didn't happen, and you're going to repeat, okay, you're going to say, what was it? What were you talking about? You said, oh, I've been I love the idea of exploring new maps. Say that again.
Oh, so okay. Yeah, I just want them to add a new race because I want to explore a new map.
Yeah, new maps, right? And interestingly enough, something that was found and posted on Reddit just before we recorded seems to be concept art of a new map going into Guild Wars 2. Are you excited?
Oh, snap. Yes.
So
yes.
I've got a link for you. You may want to put this link in the description of the podcast, as long as I've still got the link. Have I still got the link? Damn it. You may have to give me a second. But basically, people have found on, you know, concept artists tend to have their own profiles and things on their own websites. There was that image of the weird futuristic city style thing that everyone thought was Kaineng for a while. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was found because someone was basically looking around in one of their concept artists' own profiles. And so someone was doing just the same thing very recently. Here's the link. I finally managed to get it. And they found something called Brisbane Wildlands, along with a bunch of other concept art that looks like it's all to do with Season 2 living story stuff. And usually art like this can only be posted on those third-party websites if it's already been used, as in it's not going to spoil anything. ArenaNet are happy for it to go up there. The funny thing about this artwork was that as soon as it was posted about and as soon as the internet caught on that it existed, the author of it all removed it from their website. So now you can only find it on backups. And it very much suggests, because this stuff disappeared from the internet, that or tried to disappear from the internet, that it is legit and it is very much to do with Morgemoth and
so why put it up in the first place? Would they think that it is no one's
going
to notice? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they probably think they're safe. They don't expect your random fan to do enough research into the company to find the names of all their concept artists that have never, you know, done any interaction themselves with the community and then look them up on Google and see what they get. There's been loads of this stuff throughout the game's history, and I guess it's just still happening here. But yeah, like, just the idea that they thought they could delete stuff like this and it would be gone. No, come on. You've just thrown suspicion onto it now. That's all you've done.
Well, there you go. So let's branch out from for Savari stuff.
Yeah, I really... Yeah, it's going to be more Maguma, dude. I'm sure of it. We're going to be going into... The funny thing is, all of this very jungly and very thorny, that whole jungle is meant to be wastelands. It's meant to have dried up and been destroyed as a result of the jungle dragon or prime orders or the movements of one of the elder dragons. So I wonder what take are they going to do on this when we move into these other maps? Are they going to stick with their lore that suggests it's all very dry and cragged? It's like Dry Top was in the first game? Or are they going to, you know, jungle it all up again? Because Morgemoth's awake now and it's all grown. It's all a totally new aesthetic. It's like all purpley vines like you can see in that concept art.
I wonder how big the maps are going to be. Because usually the new maps that we have gotten that are like kind of living story maps, you know, or temporary maps are really small. Southland was pretty decently big. but I want a huge map. Is that weird to say? Just
another Lornar's Pass.
Yeah, it's something huge. And I really wonder how they're gonna do the leveling system. Like, is this gonna be a level 80 map? Is this gonna be something that's gonna be like, from
15 to 30 again?
Yeah. I wonder if they're gonna add that to it, because that midway does need a little bit more maps. Maybe somewhere around there. Maybe a 40 to something map, probably. But it'll be weird. It'll be weird. I want to see what they do with that.
I think they must. I mean, what they could do is a low-level map that has a lot of 80 content within it, but even that seems kind of mismatched.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are players going to be upset that they're doing Living World stuff while scaled down? Or are they going to be happy with that? Because they've always stuck Living World stuff as level 80 content usually that also scales lobbies up to it. But yeah, with expanding the map, there are so many questions that come into this, like with what level. What would you prefer, 80 or low levels?
I prefer 80 just because it'll be good to be able to have my full stats. I don't want to have to be downgraded and have to deal with the percentages being reduced on, crit damage and all that. Even though you're probably stronger when you're low level. Like, crazy. AC is just like face roll. Like, it's just
it's good now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. I run it every day. I'm like, yeah, this is so easy. Oh gosh. Yeah. So I think I would prefer 80, and then during the leveling story, maybe people can be scaled up during that. And
only while the initial release is there, and after that, the scaling up goes away. That's exactly how they did South Sun.
I would like to see new concepts in this map as well. Like, there's no point to hearts, right? Because it's a level 80 map. Maybe toss in some hearts. Why not? Why not have another low 80 map? Whatever. But maybe some different concepts of how they can do the maps instead of just the heart and dynamic system. Maybe some other systems there.
We talked about the idea of making Claw Island a map before, didn't we? On the podcast.
I think we did.
Yeah. Like, I just want to see more stuff like that. Even if they're not huge maps, as long as they've got something unique with them. Maybe they're built around a meta event, something renewable players will start to enjoy consistently. That's going to make it a worthwhile addition.
Adding like more things like temples or ways to get across a bridge or something like that by protecting waves from enemies. Or there's so many progression events that you can do that can be kind of like World v World, but against the environment, PvE. So like a World v World PvE would be pretty cool. No, not PvP. This is clarifying.
Open world PvP?
Yeah, I would love that. I would love that.
We were dueling for ages in World vs. World the other day, needlessly. We could have been in TPVP, but we stayed in World vs. World because we wanted our food and stacks from, killing guards and stuff and all the bloodlust and things like that. Yeah. I would love it so bad. Like an inspect feature, a dueling feature, never gonna happen, but it would be so cool. Love it so much.
Seriously, how many times can we beg? I mean, I'll be fine with just a dueling feature. You don't have to make it open world PvP, but I would like to see maps made differently, especially level 80 maps made totally different than the level 80 maps that we have. Those can be for leveling. This can be for something else. This can be for certain progressions or certain skins that you can get from that map just by playing in that map. I don't want to add another currency. I know a lot of people don't like currency, but we do have a wallet now, so who cares? Just different things there that you can do that's totally from just hearts and stuff like that. And of course, jumping puzzles. I would love some jumping puzzles.
Well, see, they touched on something really cool, but never went the full hog. When they did the Tower of Nightmares stuff, they had that NPC that would sell you Magic Find if you had enough of the exclusive drops from Keswick Hills. Like, if you take that concept far enough, you can say, okay, it takes you ages to get it, but if you grind enough in Timberline Falls, you can keep upping your Magic Find only while you're in Timberline Falls. So you get players who are like, I really enjoy this map. I'm going to dedicate a bunch of time to it, and now it's become a really farmable area because I've spent so long here. I've got really high Magic Find, and I can get great tier 6 stuff there. Like, I really like that idea of people dedicating themselves to certain elements of the game. I was talking the other day about the idea of titles. Like, all titles could be leaderboard based instead of what they currently are. So you only get to rep the title if you are one of the highest to have achieved this. So, for example, the combat reviver thing. Only the top 500 players in the game to have revived people with the highest amount of revives get to rep that title. And what does that mean? That means every time you see someone with that title on, it's something they've really dedicated themselves to, and it's really a part of the way they've played Guild Wars 2. I think that would be so good, like, and actually make so many of the titles have meaning. And it's sort of tied into the same thing. Just get people to dedicate on certain elements, and that'd be sweet.
Yeah, definitely. I'm down for that.
So you did something cool in the week. You spent a lot of money on it.
What? Oh. Well, I mean,
there you go.
Gosh.
This was not such a smooth segue.
Yeah, no. It's not that. It's just like
this will be on the bottom 10 list.
I finally just like, you know what? I had the money. I just never did it. I finally got to send the back piece. Because what I wanted to do is get the fractal back piece. But the thing is, I've never found a group to do it with constantly. Because I wanted to go hardcore in it and just do it and get that. But I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna spend 100 gold. It's not really that expensive to go get me the back piece. And I got me the back piece. I got me a Zerker back piece because, you know.
Did you get like the quiver of 1,000 arrows or whatever?
It's the quiver of
Swift flight or something.
Yeah, Swift.
There's still
like that.
There is a quiver you can make in the game that's not that expensive, and you can choose any stat set you want on it. So it would have been cheaper than the one you went for, I think.
What?
But that was
See, I was asking you. I was like, is there something that's not on the wiki here? Because I don't see the new ones that came to the game. What's going on here? There's got to be some other Ascended back pieces. And then you didn't answer until like 2 years later. So you know what?
Dude, time just moves different. I'm an ent. You understand? I don't bother responding unless there's a sufficient amount of time in which I can type it. I'm just a bad typist. This is what I'm getting at. That is not what. Look, this is not what I wanted to talk about. You made something in the week.
What? Oh.
Cost you a lot of money.
Oh. Yes.
I like how you remember the back piece and not the legendary.
The bolts. I went through Mystic Clovers. So I streamed this, and this was just, oh my gosh, it was a little stressful. I was hoping that I didn't have to spend too much money, but it was okay. I think I hit the average mark where I spent a decent amount. The average was like what 230 of each material. That's not too bad.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
that's not too bad. I think I did like 250, just a little bit over. And yeah, I crafted bolt. Yes, man. Since I've been using swords so much, and I was like, you know what? You're getting like 20 legendaries. I might as well stop saving money and actually go for another legendary. Because I've been saving up waiting for the trinkets. Because Colin was like, yo, homie, I got you. We're going to have legendary trinkets by the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool, man. That's cool. And then all of a sudden, what happened? What happened, Colin?
Look how betrayed you feel.
What happened, man? Yeah, me and him are real tight.
I have this perfect image of Colin's super straight face right now.
Yeah,
as he's telling you
when I say Cantha, and he's like,
exactly that.
I gotta have at least one awkward silence every single podcast.
You were saying to me before the podcast though that you never noticed how cool Bolt was until you had it. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, when you look at legendaries, you try to psych yourself out of getting one. You're like, it's not worth spending all that money. It's not worth farming all that gold. It's not worth doing a dungeon over and over again until you get the tokens or whatever. Well, I do a lot of dungeons, so it doesn't really matter. But like, it is not worth all that time. It's not worth all that money, and then you get it, and you're like, wow, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, right.
It's actually pretty cool, And I was looking at your character, and you're just like a ball of light, pretty much now, because you have every single legendary in the game. You have like 3 now, right? You going on 4? I have 2, so I need to get.
It will be a while before I get my 4th because I need something like 8 stacks of powerful blood is what I'm currently farming, and then after I've got that, I'll be going for my final legendary.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be trying to do a sweep of dungeons every day. I've been doing like half of them because I just don't have a dedicated group that's that wants to do it, that doesn't just like AFK, But I think I may have found one, right? Maybe soon.
Maybe. The thing that annoys me most about people doing dungeons is when you're doing like a whole load of them is you can be very good and have a good comp and people know what to do in the dungeons, but the second the path ends, they take like a year to get in the next path. It's like, okay, the paths end, click the chest, get your gold, click exit instance, go back in. This can be done and achieved in like 10 seconds if everyone just keeps focused, but people don't. People never do. It always takes like a million years for the entire group of 5 people to actually get out of that one path. Everybody leaves, then you get to reopen it and everybody gets to go back in. There's always some guy that's like, oh no, I have to do something else. People seem to spend ages merching and I don't understand how it takes them so long. It really winds me up, and that's what annoys me more than anything right now. It's waiting around.
I gotta say, I'm gonna have to agree with you on this because I do this a lot. Like when it comes down to farming, I'm very structured, right? Because I have to be doing it has to be like this, because I want to get it done. I want to get it done so I can just move on to something else. And it's more effective too. I don't like wasting 10 minutes, waiting for everyone to come up. I like to see like dedication, like, okay, this is not, and that's why I usually like farming by myself. And that's what I used to do in MapleStory because I was just efficient. I leveled up very quickly. And I end up having like so many characters just by myself leveling, and max level is easy for me. When you have to do with people get lazy. Oh, I have to go buy a double XP. I have to go.
I'm going to the toilet.
Yeah, good. So, and then
the gas
man's sorry,
here.
My mom called me for like 30 minutes. And
I have a real life.
You're sucking up XP. Yeah, I have a real life. Oh gosh, but yeah, I mean, I don't mind too much. I guess if it's not, if it's not right away, I'm not gonna go crazy. But it's like, yeah,
you will after the months have waned on.
I would love to see a dedicated group. Like, okay, let's do it real quickly. And just run through the dungeons, and that'll be real good. At least AC seems to be really fine, but those other dungeons, people tend to be like a little bit lazy in the harder ones.
Well, here's my experience now. I hate AC. AC is a honeypot for upscale characters, people that don't know what they're doing, new guys dipping their feet into dungeons, and they're a pain to play with. They don't know what they're doing, and you don't really have the patience to teach it all the time. I'm very comfortable teaching to people if I can talk to them, but typing it out constantly, there is a level of fatigue you eventually reach that accrues over the days, and AC now I feel like is a complete waste of time unless I have a group. The later dungeons tend to be filled with people I feel that you can go on LFG and you generally get quality people, like they've done it many times, they know what they're doing, you just go in and you roll through. But AC and to an extent Cordicus are horrible for this, for LFG. Like, you got to be very careful, and unless you're quite ruthless kicking people for being low level, you can struggle in there.
You're spreading the virus, man. You're spreading the virus that I saw. Like, I was looking at the LFG for ARA, and it was experience only. I
never type experience only. I type all paths. That's what I type. Then if someone comes and if they're low level, I just instantly kick them. And no hard feelings. If someone then whispers and you say, "Oh, what could you do? Sorry, we're just looking for max level people for this one." That's fine. And sometimes they'll say, "Oh no, it's okay. I'll swap at the end," and then you just invite them back in. But I just type all paths. There's no point typing anything else. You're just gonna get douchebags and people trying to piggyback on you if you're calling for experienced only.
But they have to learn somehow, though. That's the thing. They have to learn somehow.
I know.
So
and
it's either there's a nice collection of videos out there that show them how to exactly do the path. And most of Guild Wars 2 people who play Guild Wars 2 are not, they don't really watch YouTube that much. They're not really like dedicated. They're more like, because there's a lot of casual players coming in and learning the game. A lot of people who are outside this whole MMO genre.
Stinking up the place.
But I do understand the fact of people saying experience only, because I did a couple ARA paths the other day, and I went from very smooth right, with a dedicated group, and then when I did a pug group or some, you know, with a couple random people, it was really bad. Really bad, and it takes hours, and it's almost like I need to leave this party. I really need to leave. I can't stand here for 3 hours in no, I can't do it. I can't. And I did one with fractals, and I was just like, I'm at a point where I like to, if I'm playing the game, I'm playing it, you know, decently, efficiently. Yeah, you know, like decently. You know, it's fine to waste time and have fun and chill. But man, in dungeons where you can't leave and you're stuck in there until you defeat it because you don't want to feel like a douchebag, those are the ones that get you stressful, and those are the ones that make you feel that way. And I think that's why it's become this mentality of like, okay, it has to be experienced players only. I can't take people who are not experienced. I just want to go there and I want to run it, and then I'm gonna go to sleep, or I gotta go do my job. You know, like, people have lives. I understand that. So like, people want to get it done. Everyone has different excuses. Some people don't have no excuse, and they have time to teach other people how to play it properly. But yeah.
It might sound to people it's kind of intimidating and horrible. Like, people don't get mad necessarily. My entrance into dungeon running recently was, and I would wholeheartedly suggest people follow this, do a lot of pug stuff first, because you learn a lot from pugs. A lot of pugs out there are more experienced than you are, and yes, you'll get a few dud runs, especially in AC and CM. But for the later dungeons, especially, if you start just going with pugs, you learn all of the stack spots, you learn interesting things, you learn, for example, I was doing Twilight Arbor forward a specific way for ages, and then eventually we had a pug in one run, and the pug was like, oh no, just come over here, and it's like, oh wow, now you get 2 champ boxes instead of 1. Why weren't we doing this before? You learn stuff from pugs, and my entry was I just pugged it a lot. I found one person who was just frequently there most days, and we just kept doing it together. We got pretty good, and once the 2 of us knew that general base of knowledge, we then started playing with our friends and guildies who knew nothing, and then they were the less experienced ones, and you sort of bring them up to par. And that's been my experience. I've had weird situations where I've had insanely... Arar is a really, really good example. You go with people who have played the dungeon a lot and know what's going on. It goes really smoothly and really nicely, and you can get carried hard in there. But then I've had runs where I've played with guildies who I rate as decent players, but they know nothing about the dungeon itself. And then you have these horrendous runs, these horrible runs, and everyone feels bad, and you're wiping constantly, and you don't want to be the douche. It's like you said, you don't want to be the douche, but eventually... Like, I got to a point where I was just prefacing. I was saying, right, I will run this with the guild. I will do this, but I tell you now, if it's going badly, I don't want any hard feelings, but if it's going badly, I'm just going to leave it before people start to get frustrated. We'll see how we do, and then go in. And that's what I started doing for a little while, until everyone sort of got a bit better. But that's what Arar is like. It's a constant stream of people who don't know what the hell they're doing, and there's a lot to teach. A lot.
Yeah, especially Lupicus, which could be killed very easily, but if people don't really understand the concept, ooh, boy, we're going to be in there for a long time. Long time. Yeah. So, question time?
Sure. The little goal I achieved, Matt achieved a lot more, I guess. I managed to finish my Ascended Armor this week as well. So, I'm a little bit closer... Yeah, I'm a little bit closer to stat cap. I'm going to be definitely talking about the idea of getting to stat cap in this game. But this is why I need all those powerful blood now. To get truly there, I need a lot of blood, and that's my next big grind. But I unlocked the skins, and I quite like them, dude. I'm putting the skins on my Mesmer. Because I crafted it for my Ellie, but I can put... Dude, when I get to stat cap, I won't just have a stat-capped Ellie. I will have stat cap for every single light armor class. I can play Zerk Necro, Mesmer at the absolute max they can be. It's going to be so good.
How much does it cost you for Ascended?
See, so Ascended Armor's weird for me. I usually obviously rate stuff in how much gold it took me to get. Ascended Armor, I instead rated on how many days it took me to get. Because literally just every day I would throw my money back into the game at Damask, and that's how I did it. Like, so I would ballpark, I spent maybe 400 to 600 gold on it. But overall it was about 8 or 9 days worth of gameplay to get that money and get the Ascended Armor. I would say it's about how long I spent on the whole process. I had people helping me by crafting. Like, I'd give them all the materials, and they'd use their daily craft for the Damask, and then mail it over to me. And in doing that, you can speed it up a bit.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
but what was the price as well? What's the average?
Okay, so at one point I gave out enough materials for 10 damask, and it cost me like 100 gold, I think, or so. It cost me about 100 gold to give people the mats to craft me damask. If I was going to buy it outright, it probably would have cost me about 130 gold or something. So, saved me a bit of money. I ended up buying the last 10 outright as well. I don't know. It's been this whole thing. I think it's really curious, and it's such a long process. You realise it's a month worth of laurels as well? It's 30 laurels just for one set of ascended armor of a specific type. It's a lot of stuff you're going into. Loads. You think you've got it all worked out, and then they're like, no, you need to do all this extra stuff as well so that you can just get the recipes to even learn how to craft it. It's like, jeez. But I feel awesome now, and it's really cool to see all those little green numbers, and you equip the Ascended Armor, and you're looking at all this exotic armor, and everything appears in red. It's like, oh, all these stats are lower than what I can currently have available. Ah, it feels so cool. It feels really cool to have it there.
Yeah.
But I'm holding it off.
I think, like, I've been going for, like I have my back piece now, and, I mean, I got rings, and I got my amulet.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get my accessories for at least Berserker, because I already had my rings and amulet and everything for, like, so PvT and stuff. But now I'm getting it for Berserker. I don't know, like, I've been holding it off because I was like, man, do I want to spend all this money just on Berserker armor for my Guardian? It's just so weird. Such a weird feeling.
If you're going to be running a lot of dungeons, you will not go wrong with it. It will be very, very fun for you. And I think once you run enough dungeons, you're going to get really wrapped into the culture of pushing as much deeps out as you can, and it's going to get really exciting to you, the idea of having all that good stats. So I would really recommend you go for it.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool. All right, so the questions. It's question time.
Question time.
You did you ring the bell already?
Oh yes, of course it did.
Okay, there we go. There we go. This is from nice. This is from Ria Chada, who says, question to Matt and WP. Do you guys have any information or speculation on how or what the money from Waypoint traveling is used for? Just like real life, I thought the government interior would use it for a service back to the community, just like taxed civilians are provided with waste disposal, firefighting. What kind of a question is that? The service you're getting is the teleport.
No, he means where do you think the money is going? Like think about
into
the economy.
The pockets of they set up the story that there are Asura in Ratasum who are getting the money. There's also a specific Asura you used to be able to speak to in Lion's Arch who got the money from the big Asura gates, and they sort of set it up that these people were very profitable and had a lot of money. But like the guys that take our money for waypoints, that isn't tax. This isn't big government running this. These are all different peoples all across the whole world. There's no unifying force for this. This is just some Asura out there with a cool invention that is getting incredibly wealthy. And he's probably being taxed in Ratasum for that wealth, which is then going into the Arcane Council and so forth. But, yeah, like, it's not, he doesn't owe you anything. You're paying for a service. You're paying for the teleport service to this guy. I think you may even specifically be able to meet that Asura. It escapes me right now. Can you imagine how much money he would have taken since the launch out of the game?
Oof. He's rich, dude. Can you imagine the constant flow of that, getting that inside of your bank account?
It's probably like 100 gold or so.
Yeah, so much money. Man, you could almost buy a precursor with that.
Think of all the copper he gets from the level 1s.
Oh my goodness.
That builds up over time.
Yeah, it sure does. For all the 100 people that play this game.
Jeez. How was it that they set up Ellen Keel was able to offset the cost of waypoints?
I don't know. She probably used her charms, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was a little sexist. That was a little sexist there, wasn't it?
It was. I wasn't going to say anything. Since
forgive me for that. Forgive me for that. Do you forgive me, WP?
It's not up to me. I'm not offended by sexism. Okay. Oh, well, that's really bad. What I mean is I am not personally affected by sexism.
Nice.
It's up to the
I was referring
lovely
you
ladies
to being a woman. That was the original thing, but that's good too. Thank you for that.
Okay.
I'm glad that's on the podcast.
You got your fill.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
My cup is full and overflowing.
Cam9797 says, "Hey Matatoes, what do you think of ArenaNet carrying on the story in the current achievement race fashion? Would you prefer this or doing it in an improvised personal story style, maybe with optional objectives and meaningful rewards?"
All right, so I'm a little weird off with discussion. Is he talking about the living story having achievements that you go for, and that's why people play? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, I think that he's sort of generally saying you don't get quest logs, do you? You get meta achievements. It's like all forced into achievements. I think that's what he's trying to say.
Right. Definitely, achievements should always be there. Let's lay that out. Achievements should always be there, and optional objectives could be in achievements. But I think what you really want is for it to be a little bit more meaningful in the living story, and probably could a quest log really work in Guild Wars 2?
Yeah, well, think about this. You know, you press H, you got your hero panel, and there's that little tab there that says My Personal Story, and it lists out all of the stuff you did in your personal story, like a quest log. Right. I've always thought that they should just do a version of that for Living World. And I think that, and yeah, then still have the metas and stuff, but they should be optional objectives, yeah. And then that lets you re-look at all of your old stuff. Even better, they could then shoehorn a feature where, by going into that element of the UI and clicking through it, say you click on one of the old personal story steps, they had a button there that says go to this replay this personal story step, and then it zones you back into that old instance. How cool would that be?
What do you think about daily quests like that, and just having a quest every day that's something random about going inside of the world, just like randomly
into the personal story,
not personal story but in the world in general, like just random quests of you talk to this guy and there's a story behind it.
Yeah, I think the one thing this game misses most, and if I ever got into a position of power at ArenaNet, I'd be pushing so hard for it, and it's so against their philosophies, but is traditional quests. I think they could add so much to this game. Think of this, right? Think of, you know, the feature patch, right?
Yeah.
Tons of features, no real content that went in the game. But you realize you can pass any individual feature that came out with the feature patch along with a traditional quest. If traditional quests existed, for example, this is my go-to example lately. You know, they gave us armor repair costs. They are now free.
Yeah.
What happened for us content-wise? We just logged into Guild Wars 2 and there was no content. It's just, oh, they're free now, right? They just removed the cost.
Right.
Let's say traditional quests were in the game. They could have, yes, made armor repairs free, but to get access to that, you have to go and complete a new quest that's been added in Timberline Falls on your level 80 character with a smith. And by helping the smith out, he offers to reduce the fees on all your anvils for the future. And then there you go, they're free. So it's the feature has come in the game. It's now free, but it's content at the same time. And they currently have no way of dropping content nicely into the game like that. Small, isolated quests, anything. If you think of anything they add to this game, they can just do it with a traditional quest.
The thing is, they've conditioned people this whole time of just getting stuff easy and just being tossed stuff. So when you add something like that to the game, people are like, no, I don't want to do all that. I mean, people still complain about meta achievements. I complain sometimes about meta achievements. I'm like, I don't want to do all that for you know, nothing, or some I don't know, like back piece or mini or whatever. It's like, man, is it really all that trouble of doing this daily, every single time just to get it? Because you can only, some of those achievements you can only do like once daily, you know. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh, should we do that or should we not? So because people are going to complain.
I don't care about those people complaining. They're wrong. They should do it, man. It would make the game so much better.
I think they should add quests, but not attach it to any feature like that. Just add a quest.
But then where's your incentive to do the quest? No.
They can add skills to the game, and they can add a merchant.
That's the same thing, though. Last podcast, we were talking about adding new classes of utility skills. Yeah, you were saying that would be cool. Now they could just dump that on your character and be like, there you go, spend some skill points and you've got it. Or they could put it at the end of some quests.
No, definitely. Yeah, for that I agree. But not for like repair costs. Like,
No, that's something cool, man. You make a new level 80 and it's one of your goals. It's another thing to play and do when you get to level 80. Permanent content. More stuff to walk around the world. Imagine if everything that they'd added like this had come with some kind of quest. I think about RuneScape a lot with that.
Well, I'm talking specifically for the repair cost thing. It's just like, no, I don't want to do a quest for repair costs. For other things, sure, that would work, definitely.
No, you appreciate what I'm saying is you complete the quest and that unlocks the free repairs forevermore.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's more of a change than like something you should be rewarded from a quest. Because
I don't know.
Yeah, but definitely for skills and new weapons and stuff like that. Oh my gosh! And it'd be like an epic quest. That would be great. And you could like in that quest, you can like pick it up on the floor and just use it for a little bit. All the new weapons, and then you get to pick one at the end of the quest, and then you have to go do another one. Yeah, there's so many ways that you can do it.
Yeah, because I missed that as well. When you're doing the personal story, and it gives you, do you want this or this? And like that's maybe an interesting decision for the first 5 seconds in Guild Wars 2, and then it never is again. I want that back. I want a quest reward and actually have an interesting decision on what I pick at the end.
Absolutely. And then you can like go back and do it again to get another one, or you have to do it in some other way to get another one, but you have that choice of picking one. You know, I like stuff like that. I like stuff that are just, I guess it goes into the, you know, shaping your character different than everyone else. Instead of everything just being like everyone can get everything no matter what they do, you know, no matter how many times how much time they spent in the game, you know, like I like decisions to be made, and you know that's like the personal story was such a letdown when it came down to decisions. You know, the decisions didn't really mean anything. So yeah, there you go. What's the Yeah, say nothing. What? You disagree? What's going on?
No. I'm agreeing completely. I am agreeing. Damn, I need to tone down the sarcasm a little, I guess. Was I being sarcastic just then?
Oh.
Nobody knows. Next question is from Lollapuna, who says, I have 2 questions for Matt. The first is, when you play a game with your girl, is it you play and she watches, she plays and you watch, or playing co-op? The second being, what do you recommend for me and my lady to play? We've been playing the Lego games and she enjoys the hell out of those.
All right. So, my wife doesn't necessarily watch me play games. We usually play together. Usually when she's here, it's us playing together, or we're watching like anime or movies or something like that. So co-op is mostly what we do. And we have ran through pretty much all of the Lego games, at least from a few years back. The new ones we haven't run through yet because I haven't got it back like on my Xbox. I haven't got the new stuff on my Xbox yet. So there is... One thing I recommend is definitely Rayman Legends. Reason why. Rayman Legends is kind of like when you used to play Sonic the Hedgehog when you're a little kid. And
one person was Tails.
Yeah, and one person was Tails. Right? That is initially what it is. Because no matter... She can... mess you up if she's bad at the game. That's if she's bad. If she's getting, you know, if she takes some time getting used to the game, it's not gonna mess you up too bad because she can die and you can just keep reviving her over and over and over again, right? So you can carry her.
I'm a little offended by this sort of default assumption that she's bad at games.
No. It's not. It's one of those things. It's one of those things. I
backing you into a corner here.
Oh my gosh. If she's good at games, then you have no problem. But Rayman Legends is a good game. A really good game for this. If she's good at games, then it doesn't matter. You're going to have fun regardless. Both of you guys are going to die anyway because the game is hard. The game is not easy. So, but yeah.
You're really selling this to me. I really want to... You've talked about it quite a lot lately, and I really want to play Rayman Legends now.
Dude, the game design... The level design, the art, everything, just good. It's just a good game. Overall, you can't go wrong. It's a little pricey, Rayman Legends, definitely. But you get 2 controllers, and boom, you're good. You never know, though. Like, seriously, like, there's times where my wife, because my wife works a lot. She doesn't have time to play as she used to. She used to no-life MMOs with me all day long after work. Like, all day long. But now she doesn't play as much. So... For these games, like, I'm usually carrying, but sometimes she's carrying me because I'm dying most of the time. Because some levels she's better than me than others. But yeah, it's a good game. Definitely get it. I recommend that. So there you go.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
The next question is from Anonym, who says, "Hey WP and Matt with 1T. I have a PvP question. Talking about keeping up with the fight, and are there some tricks to it? I have done a little PvP and just became a Bambi, yay, but for me, it's mostly smashing my skills and dodge more or less randomly and hoping to survive. Even in 1 versus 1 situations, I lose track of what is happening so quickly. It's like a big blob of animations and effects. It's also happened to me a lot lately that other players lolled at me for attacking their pets, phantasms, minions. I feel like such a noob and I can't seem to get better at PvP. This is quite frustrating, so maybe you could give some basic tips on how to keep up with what is happening during PvP fights."
First, let me say, I feel your pain. Okay. I've been recently getting better at PvP.
Oh, newbies.
But yeah, like, I still consider myself a noob. I can carry myself. But yeah, I have those slow moments where there's so much going on, especially minion masters. Okay, we could talk about 1v1s. But minion masters, like, I'll use my Sigil of Justice, and the flame will attack everyone. But then when I go, I think that, like, the flesh golem or one of the minions or the ranger pet is someone, and I don't attack it, like, go directly for it, but I do aim my camera towards it, and I'm like, oh snap, no, this is not a minion. So I could totally understand. For 1v1s, that goes with practice. It's learning each class and what they can do is part of it, and that's how others get good at it. They kind of know what other classes can do. You know what they expect. If they're running greatsword, you know that you might get pushed back. You know, there might be some, you might need to pop stability or whatever if they're gonna push you off the point or something like that. There's certain things that you just gotta know with certain classes, and you know, thieves. They're always going to stealth. They're always going to be little wussies. You know, you just got to learn these things. You know, warriors, if they're using a greatsword, they're probably going to try to do 100 blades in your face. But focusing, it comes with practice. I'm interested to see what you're going to say, though, WP.
Well, to be honest, I know exactly how this feels. I am... not being funny about it, but I'm like very, very far beyond this point now. But I still know how it feels. Before recording this very podcast, I started playing a thief in PvP, and I do not play very much thief at all. I'm at a point on thief where I still have to spend a lot of time paying attention to my own abilities. I'm getting used to what I'm capable of, where all of my blinks are, where my evades are. It's a completely new class to me to play, and so much of my focus is on what I'm doing. And during those times, it's incredibly difficult, even though I know what all the classes are, what to expect, and how to maintain focus on the proper things. I find it very difficult when I'm running around on my thief at the moment, because so much of my attention is on me. You'll find that once you've played enough, and it really is just a question of playing enough, your own cooldowns and capabilities will become very natural to you. And yes, there's a lot of stuff you can continue to learn about your character, but you will reach a point where you can focus much better on what other players are doing. When you are, say, playing your Mesmer, and you no longer have to worry about, oh, is my shatter up, or oh wait, which skill was the one where I was evading while I was doing it. Once that just comes naturally, it's so much easier to focus on what other people are doing. I think some things can really get in the way of what you're meant to be focusing on. MMs are a good example, but also you can really get, like, Mesmers are the best thing to fight against for learning how to focus. Mesmers will crush noobs that have no idea what's going on, because they will start backstabbing phantasms and doing just stupid stuff. But very quickly, once you've played, you start to notice that the Mesmer themselves just move in very different ways. For example, there is no phantasm in the game that does a Blurred Frenzy style attack, okay? And once you know what that animation looks like, the Mesmer, like if it's an Asura sort of floating in the air for a second, waving his hand around, once you know what that looks like, and that's such a common thing Mesmer players do, you can identify the mesmer instantly without comprehending anything about the ads around you. You just see that slight animation, you're like, right, that's the mesmer. Yeah, if you see something disappear, you know that's the real mesmer because they're the only ones that can stealth. Like, you just build this cursory knowledge about all the things that could happen, and it helps you single a lot of stuff out very quickly. I do recommend you play a face roll build. Early on, play something like Hambo, play an MM yourself, something where you've got a lot of passive and you don't have to focus much on yourself, and that will help you learn the environment and focus on what you need to.
Man, I gotta say, mesmers, fighting a mesmer and an MM at the same time. By the way, MM means minion master for necros. But when you see all minions all over the place, it's ridiculous. Playing against those two, if they gank you, is the most ridiculous thing ever because it's so hard to focus on the mesmer if they're all bundled up into one space, right?
That's a really good point because you cannot. Even great players hate that stuff and can really struggle.
Big problem with that, and that's the reason kind of why when I'm playing, I kind of use a sword because I'll be able to blink to it once I find the mesmer, right? Because I want to kill the mesmer first because necros are just ridiculously tanky depending on what build they're running. Kill that mesmer so I can get rid of those dang phantasms or clones all over the dang place because it's crazy and they could keep juking you too. So it's so annoying. But yeah, I can definitely see how hard it is to focus on one thing at the same time. So don't feel bad. You just have to practice, man. And people who just laugh and stuff, just ignore them, man. Ignore the elitists. Just have fun with the game. Have fun with it.
If you're starting PvP, one of the best things you can do is turn off chat completely. Don't subscribe to any trolls. Don't become one yourself. Turn off chat and turn on your combat log. This will help you focus on the way you're playing the game and the damage you're doing. And you get to ignore, as a bonus at the same time, all the trollish random stuff that other people are talking to you about. And I promise you, everyone hates the amount of pets and AI that is in the meta, that remains in the meta even after the patch. If you are, as Matt says, against a Minion Master Necro, a Phantasm Mesmer, and a Spirit Ranger all at once, and this is not that uncommon.
It's not.
It's horrendous. Great players will still take ages being like, the worst thing is, for me, I can identify where the player is straight away, but the targeting system frustrates me to no end. You have to click on them specifically, or keep cycling through all of the null targets until finally you get the person you want. And that can be brutal.
What I did is I had auto targeting on, right? And for the most part, it worked properly, right? Because if I was targeting the wrong thing, I would just click, right? So I turned it off and I keybind it to my Q and I used to have Virtue of Justice on Q, but I've been pressing one so many times that I was like, man, I might as well just keybind to something else because I need to learn how to tab target properly. And I've been like, people would disappear and reappear, and it would mess up my tab targeting, right? Something so easy, and I've gotten so accustomed to it auto attacking that I would have just attacked randomly and off to the side. But I've been having so much trouble when it comes down to minion masters and all these people in my face, and the 2 seconds that it takes you to tab target to the correct character is the 2 seconds it takes them to like put a bunch of conditions on you, and you could have dodged outside of like what's that signet that gives you all those conditions?
Signet of Spite.
Yeah, like you could have dodged that, or like there's so many things. So it's definitely comes down to plays. I've seen people do different playstyles, even clicking. I've seen this guy play really good PvP with clicking. I couldn't believe it. Absolutely couldn't believe it. But I say go with what you're comfortable and kind of move up sometimes. But maybe you should probably what you think is more effective. Taking auto-targeting off, right, and just learning from the get-go, right?
Yeah. What I bind, there's two different things you can bind. One is closest target, which can bug out a lot and is camera-specific rather than character-specific. And the other one is next target. I have both set up. You're also going to want a cool target hotkey and a take target. Like another thing you can do versus MM in particular, because they don't stealth, is you can ping the minion master. As long as this isn't annoying the rest of your team, you can ping the minion master, and then say you lose the target for whatever reason, you can just retake that target every time by pressing T. And it also puts a giant crosshair above their head physically on the battlefield, so you know where they are at all times. That could be helpful too.
Definitely.
But you will get better. So much of the game is focusing what other players can do. And yes, you'll feel like you're dodging randomly, and that's fine for now because you're still focusing a lot on what you can do. You will find that eases away though, and then you're beginning to look for other stuff. And you'll see the key stuff. You'll see Earth Shakers coming. You'll see Eviscerates coming. You'll see Churning Earths. You'll see all the big tells and really key things. You'll learn. And that's fun. Trust me. It sounds intimidating, but that's the fun of PvP. Coming out being like, yeah, I've learned that now, and you go in the next match and you can do something better. You can keep climbing.
Wow. Well, we gave you some time.
We're quite the PvP experts, don't you think, these days?
Yeah, I'm learning, and I've actually been dedicated, to doing it every single day. It's not bad on my part.
How are your reward tracks going for PvP now?
Pretty good. I wish I stayed on Balthazar because I would have finished Balthazar already. But yeah, I'm halfway through Balthazar because I stopped this last couple days. But yeah, I should go in there and finish it today actually.
Yeah, I kind of want to repeat Balthazar because that was the only one that gave me Ascended stuff. So I'm like, man, I should get back on that.
Didn't it? Gave me Ascended stuff. I was like, man, it's awesome.
Yeah. The next question is from Eric Johansson, who says, "Hey WP and MV, if or when they add new big areas to GW2, what do you think will happen exploration-wise? Like, will there be a been there, done that achievement? Will people lose that title and have to explore the new areas in order to get it back? Or will there be a new achievement for the new areas? I believe they'll have to strip people of that title and make everyone do the new areas, since the title been there, done that will kind of lose its meaning otherwise." We've talked about this a lot, really, haven't we?
Yeah, well, yeah, the first part, yeah, I guess so. We have that always happens. We always talk about the questions.
In past podcasts, we have as well, though. Like this is why I'm an advocate for expansions in a big way, because then they can release loads of maps all at once and have a totally new title all at once for that.
Yeah,
and leave the old been there, done that. I don't believe they'll strip it.
That's basically it.
Yeah, I don't think they'll strip it because they didn't strip it when they added South Sun. There'll just be more options. I think the way they'll do it Season 2 is there'll be more options. Basically, it'll be really easy to get world completion if you want now because you have so many more options in theory. But yeah. Wow, we really gypped that guy out after the PvP question. Do you feel bad at all?
It's okay. He knows. He knows.
Oh, this next question. I was hoping you'd pick this.
Oh,
I think me and you are gonna have the same answer to this.
Okay.
Okay. All right. You know what people do when they're like trying to flirt at school, and they're like, "Oh, let's say it both together," and then you say it, and you hope you say the same thing.
Yeah.
All right. We'll try and do this. Okay. So here's the question, everyone. Luke Schneider, how do you like to eat your apples? More like crunchy and sour, or soft and sweet and juicy? Okay. So I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1, go, and on go. We both say which one we want. Crunchy and sour or soft and sweet juicy. Yeah? Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Soft,
Crunchy and sour.
No! I like my soft.
You like soft apples?
Sweet.
Really?
And no, not soft, really. I like mine sweet. I
like them crunchy and sweet.
Crunchy and sweet?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I had this apple that was kind of like a pear in a way.
Okay.
And it was
I know what you're talking about here.
One of the best apples I have ever tasted. There's also another one that's quite crunchy, but it has a nice sweet taste to it. I also like that. I've dived into the apple race before. A lot of people just buy apples. No. You're losing out. Okay, you don't go to the store and just simply buy apples. You have to get a good apple. Okay, a good apple, and there's plenty of them. You just gotta experiment a little bit. You're not gonna find them at Publix, okay? Because Publix sucks. Okay, like it's like a very generic like supermarket here in the U.S.
Tune in next time to hear Matt Visual at Publix buying an apple.
Oh gosh, a bag of apples that I'm just not gonna eat. I'm just gonna throw it in the garbage after I finish. Did
For
you use
people
your phone
in the
to
UK,
record that, by the way?
Yeah, I did. For people in the that's why there's like a weird noise, because that's me putting it in my pocket. For people in the UK, Granny Smiths are where it's at. You know what I'm talking about. Crunchy, pretty sour, I'm gonna say, but a bit of sweetness in there too. Beautiful. Those are the best apples. I only eat crunchy apples. I hate biting into an apple when it's got like a bit of give before your teeth pierce the skin. Do you know what I mean?
Whoa, no, I don't like that.
That's what I think of when I think of a soft apple.
Yeah.
Only a tiny bit of give,
like
but
a pear.
bit
You're talking about like a pear. Like a soft
yeah,
pear.
but an apple. Yeah, kind of pearish. I don't like that. That's what I was thinking of with a soft apple. Obviously not as extreme as a pear.
Apples. There's not many soft apples though.
I hate soft. There's a whole texture of them. Oh, curse your tongue.
He says.
All right, I don't hate.
But he says crunchy and sour. I thought you can't put those two together, right?
You can. That's
all right.
Yeah,
so
I know exactly what it means.
I guess we could have picked the same thing there. Crunchy sweet. Where's that?
Crunchy sweet.
Crunchy sweet. I like juicy apples though. I like that juice just busting
Apple
out
bottom?
when you bite it and you see like a little bit of juice just sprinkle out of the apple. It just kind of, you see it like the water just kind of drip from your mouth as you crunch in.
Do you hear like that experiment you can do with apples and pears, and like whether you've got an apple or a pear, because pears are heavier than apples. That's the thing. Like, you'd think a pear is lighter than an apple, wouldn't you? Like, it's a more light and refreshy small thing. But apples float on water while pears sink. So if they can look identical, you can breed these two fruits to look basically the same. But you'll always be able to tell which they are by throwing them in water. I learned that on QI.
Wow.
There you go.
Well, there you go.
And I also I was learning about quantum mechanics like 2 days ago, dude. I was reading loads about the double slit theory and about how if you observe a photon going through a slit, it will appear with a resonance pattern, while if you don't observe it, it will appear with a different pattern. I've got that the wrong way around.
You learned this at Hogwarts.
Dude, it's crazy. It's a mind blow. Literally, it's just by observing something, it completely changes its property. And there's this whole... Oh my god, it's great. Anyway, next question is from Strike Wolfie, who says, I know they have gotten similar questions before, but with the Resent, he says, Blade and Soul anime, how would MV and WP feel about an anime that's related to Guild Wars or Guild Wars 2? Maybe even having it tie in with the living world.
Ooh. So
Senpai Trahan!
you see I could totally see oh man, don't tell me I forgot her name already. Braum and Rox. Yeah, Rox, there it is. Rox. I had to say Braum first. Rox is like, notice me senpai for Ritlock. Oh dude, that'd be so fun.
Yeah, there you go. And they would have, if it was the personal story, the end, the bit with the airship shooting Zaitan would just be a giant Kamehameha, and it would be a whole episode of filler, just like Dragon Ball Z does.
Yeah.
For the entire thing.
Getting ready to blast the cannon. Oh, we must wait for the opportune moment, and then something is happening on the ship. There's a romance or whatever, or I don't know, like some filler or whatever. Oh my gosh, are you ready to blast it? Yeah, but we must first talk about the quantum mechanics of the blaster. Okay,
of the double slit theory.
Yeah,
yes.
And they're gonna do like graphs and stuff. And then at the end of the episode, we're ready. And the next episode, something else happens. And then we have to go through all that. And then the third episode, something else happens. And then the fourth, we finally see they're about to shoot it, almost about to shoot it. But at the end, they cut it. And then at the next episode, they finally shoot it. And then they go for another.
You are no stranger to this style of storytelling.
Oh, dude. Every day after school, go over to my stepbrother's house, watch some Dragon Ball Z. Still haven't beat Frieza. Again and again and again. Still haven't beat Frieza. They're just sitting there talking about crap. It's like, what? Come on. What's going on? Fight. Dang it. Couple fights. Oh, I'm dead. Sensu Bean. Go again. So
I think next week, my recommendation for you, film-wise, will be an anime film, I find.
Ooh, really?
Yeah,
that I want to see
how much. Yeah, that you haven't seen. I'll deliberately find one you haven't seen.
All right.
Did you ever finish Chobits? I wonder if they did a movie about Chobits.
Man, I watched Chobits long time ago. I finished it, but I can't remember.
Okay.
I just remember it was very fan servicey.
It may be a Chobits fan art just thrown out there.
Oh gosh.
Next question is from Zapristo, who says, Dear Matt, WP, imagine a war starts between Great Britain and America in which you are forced to participate. On the battlefield, you suddenly realize that you face each other. What would you do? I got like a Morrowind vibe there, like you're speaking to the guy at the start of the game, And he gives you like a hypothetical, and then he says, "What do you do?
Kiss?
What do you choose? You would kiss me? Really?"
No.
Oh, you wouldn't kiss. Oh.
Oh, don't be offended. It's you know what I'm saying.
Now I feel bad, man.
You know,
what is this?
Listen, my wife might listen to this podcast.
Well,
Alright?
okay. Why are we at war? First of all, do you want to try and manufacture this reason?
I'll let you take this. I'll let you take this one.
Basically, we just got tired of your crap.
Oh.
That's the answer to it.
Oh.
Tired of you calling your football league the World Series or baseball or whatever the hell it is you call the World Series. You know, just all the inane stuff. You know, people like that woman we were listening to at the start of the podcast or before the podcast screaming about how you don't want decent healthcare, affordable for the poor, and you know, we're just not interested. You belonged to us once, and boy, God will bring you back into the fold.
Oh gosh.
The Empire.
Oh gosh. Well,
Okay, and so I meet you on the battlefield.
And America attacks Britain because a woman runs the country. Yeah, was that a little bit sexism in there?
Who do you think will... I was about to ask you, who do you think will have a female president or prime minister first? And we had one back in the 80s. So, never mind that then.
Well, there you go. So, we meet on the battlefield. The battlefield.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
We see each other. Our eyes lock. We have never seen our faces... Well, you've seen me. Never seen your face before, but I just know. In my heart, I know it's Tatoes. I'm like, Tatoes. Is that you?
Yes, Matt. Yes, it's me.
Oh man, I guess a first response.
That is the voice I would use, by the way.
Well,
when I see people in real life, I don't talk normally. I say, yes, oh, it's me, oh, hello, I don't know. So that they don't recognize me.
Okay, I can imagine just a slow moment of our eyes locking, and you just hear like the wind blow, and then you hear that those noise of
gunfire
bombs
in the distance,
and bombs being dropped, and tanks being blown up. Just in this,
okay.
And we just lock eyes as we reach for our gun.
Wow, so that's how you think this would end?
No, I generally think I don't. Man, serious. I don't know.
I'd like to think that I haven't been institutionalized and just brought in as a part of the war machine at this point, and I'd just be like, dude, screw killing people. Let's get out of here.
Yeah,
and we'd go.
Let's just
leave. I have so little interest. So one of my good friends as I was growing up ended up joining the army, and I've got so little interest in anything to do with that. It just seems ludicrous to me. So yeah, I'd just be like, no, peace.
Yeah,
let's
we would have to abandon the war and go our separate ways and from the war anyway.
Think about it, man. If everyone was lazy like that, no one would die.
Like why attack?
You can't trust other people to be lazy. That's the problem with the world. You can't trust them to be too lazy to kill you.
Well, there you go. We would run off together and live in a nice cottage.
A cottage.
And
Ew.
eat biscuits and eat ham on our hairy chests.
Wow, I didn't think we were going to talk about that.
Well, there you go.
Not 2 weeks in a row.
Too much.
TMI, you know, I hold my audience at arm's length, and you're just letting them into all my dirty secrets.
Oh boy, I think that's why they listen.
I actually still have this candle here, and I haven't relit it since the day I had it on before.
Oh, that's sad. So you haven't
The
had
lovely
any
sherbet.
light? You just been sitting there in that dark room?
In the pitch black. It's light out right now. Jeez. The next question is from GragX, who says, what would you think if instead of farming gold all the time to get stuff, we could actually just farm the stuff? As an example, tier 6 blood. Why do we have to farm dungeon champs, whatever, for gold instead of having blood as a reward from a specific thing in the game? Well, you're wrong, aren't you? People do specifically farm the tier 6.
I guess what he's saying is more efficiently. Like, let's say let's see, charged lodestones. You get those from Crucible of Eternity, right? You get from the chest from
COE,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when I used to farm charged lodestones, sometimes I would get them. So what about a definite way you get one at least.
Well, the PvP reward tracks are also definite ways of getting them now for that specific dungeon. I sort of agree that they should be more efficient. I would like this a lot. I would like, for example, I was farming my own armored scales for my previous legendary. I was absolutely doing that, and I went to the same spot, but only because the spot where I farm those I feel is very profitable and gives you a lot whenever you go there. And yeah, you're right, it would be nice if they were higher rates. I earned a lot of my money ages ago farming corrupted lodestones at Grenth, and they're not worth any money anymore, but that used to be really good. And yeah, I think instead of getting just this generic splash that comes from champ bags and great moldy bags and stuff like that, it should be more profitable to go for a specific area.
Yeah, because most people, what they do is that it's more effective to just farm the best way to get gold.
Champs.
Yeah, the best way to get gold, and then you buy the materials that you need that you're missing, you know, if you haven't farmed it enough. Like, you know, because you get stuff from World. If you're doing a wide variety of stuff, World, dungeons, whatever, you start getting a variety of stuff, you know, and you can sell all the tier 1 through tier 5, which I have a lot of, and just get a lot of money through that. And then buy your tier 6 if you know, whatever you're missing. And if you've been farming for a bit, you know, you can get it. But, like, it would be nice to be, okay, I could just do this dungeon. I know I'm going to get this tier 6, you know, and that could be good.
If this feature is in the name of spreading people out, again, getting them to go see rarely done stuff, kill certain mobs on maps that they wouldn't usually appreciate, I think, again, this could tie really nicely into the wonderfully implemented bonus experience system they have in the game. I've talked about it with a view for dynamic events before, but this could work here too. If a random Minotaurs drop blood, we know this. If that random Minotaur has not been killed by a player for X amount of hours, its chance to drop better blood, eventually powerful blood, should keep going up until it's like 100% chance. And what this does is it encourages players to go out and explore the world and try and find rare game and hunt game, or find mobs that haven't been slain by other players for a while and go out and kill those. That could be really fun. Practically speaking, now that mega servers are in the game, I don't think that kind of stuff's viable anymore, but that would have been fun. And yeah, maybe the rates just from raw drops should be higher, and to compensate, the rate for tier 6 should drop on champ bags, but then that makes fighting champions less fun.
Yeah, so it's probably just give people an incentive to run dungeons, is to make sure that you always get one tier 6 material from there. Maybe. Or, you know, they can balance it the way they see fit. I know the economist is like, okay, +2 is 3 and blah, 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 and this won't make any sense if you add blood, blah, blah, blah. Quantum mechanics. There you go.
Quantum TP mechanics.
Quantum TP mechanics. Yeah.
We're on to the last question.
Last question, Bell. Oh, yeah.
I imagine that's just a leg at this point. You just
It is a leg. It's not as ring-a-ding-ding as it used to be.
Yeah, it's not. I kind of want to listen to the old podcast and see how its rings changed.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
Anyway, the last question comes from Tippertot, lucky you, who says, Colin Johansson saunters up to you two and gives you double pistols and a wink. He pitches you his latest wacky idea. Guys, get this, wait for it, player housing. He wants you two to be a guest feature designers for this groundbreaking event. You get to decide how players earn, unlock, or design furniture. You can choose how it can be utilized socially, and the tireless programmers will find a way to make all your player housing dreams come true. What will you do?
Ooh. Okay, cool. You could customize it from the ground up, mate. I would say open world, but that probably wouldn't work. So maybe a sandbox setting, maybe. And then like guilds can choose their own instance, like buy their own instance and have like all the houses there in that island, I guess. I was thinking maybe the sandbox could be like an island, right? And like next to the water or whatever. That would be pretty cool. Or it could be a building or a castle or whatever, different settings. It depends. But just let my imagination run wild. I would do that. And then it can pick different instances based on which town you want to go. Like if you want to go to Divinity's Reach, the instance could be different as well. Like it could be like a little district a little district.
Wow,
that you
and
can
then
go
it could
into.
change district to district.
Yeah.
If it was in the Austin Quarter, it could look all Alolan. If it was in the East Commons, it could look more generic-y, I guess.
Yeah, you could have an instance in Holbrook and Black Citadel, and it depends on there. And what happens is you can go to your instance through the towns, so people are constantly going through the towns, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, I know people are gonna say, oh, it takes away from the towns, but if a lot of people are playing the game, really, no, not really.
No. What you could do is everyone. It's the instance you create is obviously an instance, but the entrance to that instance you get to pick. So imagine DR. You could be like, all right, I want to live on this street on this house, so this is where I set up my link between. And what that does as well is it spreads everyone out evenly around the city too, because they're constantly walking through the streets to get to their specific house.
Do you
know what I mean?
Yeah, man, there's so many ways. Also, I would probably want to add like a Hall of Monuments, right? And some people, maybe trophies of achievements that you have done, right? What about adding furniture, stuff that you can put in your house, all sorts of gear and stuff, and trophies to all the dungeons, right? Using tokens you can buy. And like if you do the dungeon like tons of times, and you can buy a very expensive trophy that you can hang or put up, depending on what the trophy is, in your house. So when people come over, because people can come over your house, that's a feature that needs to be in. And because it's going to be, obviously it's going to be a sandbox thing, so people can actually come into your house and stuff like that and see like all your cool stuff. And it'll be a really cool social experience. Yeah, what do you mean very private? Well, you can lock your door, but you can also let people open. Like, you can set the settings.
What if I want some me time?
You could set the settings to private.
And the answer to that question is you shouldn't be playing an MMO.
Yeah, well, there you go. So yeah, dude, like this, man, I would add it throughout the whole game. I would have it throughout. I wouldn't want to put portals in there because you want people still going to the towns. And then maybe you can do a quest. Maybe you can do a quest to get a portal that you can use to go straight to your housing.
Boom.
There you go. Mm-hmm. That would be quite cool. And then of course if you're in a party, you can right click them to go into their house, like from the party. That would be pretty cool.
Have you ever seen James and the Giant Peach?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I would want. I would want a giant peach. And you know the gold pass you can have to get on the airship near Gandaren?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd want one of those, but it's my giant peach flying in the sky, held by seagulls and stuff.
That would be pretty
that's
cool.
What I'd do.
That would be pretty cool. Like, I would like to see like just different designs. I know you can't just like do user generated content, but they have some really cool designs for each house, and each house like has a square that you can plant your stuff in, right? Mm-hmm. In your space in this big instance, the sandbox instance, and it'll be cool to see. It'll be really cool to see. Maybe a little dueling park there. I don't know. There's so many good.
Touch on a bit of what EverQuest Next is doing. Get a piece of that pie.
Ooh, yeah, dude. Whew. EverQuest, you could just plop down your claim anywhere on this big sandbox, and it's just amazing. Amazing to see what they can.
Have you gone back to that much recently, brother?
No, I have not. Because I'm not much of a builder. I farmed up to max, and I was just like, okay,
done.
I'll wait for caves. I'll wait for combat, because they're gonna be adding combat. They're gonna add a lot of PvE stuff, and that's what I'm waiting for. I kind of want
to play it when they get that stuff in. I think that would be really interesting.
Oh, it's gonna be good, because I really like the bare bones of it. I really like the bare bones. Really like the bare bones. The animations, the way you feel when your character moves, sprinting, grappling hook, all pretty good stuff. All good stuff. I have no problems with it so far. But I'm just not going to be a builder. I'm just not. You could literally make anything.
You should see the hovels I made myself in Minecraft.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I should.
They were brilliant.
I can't see you playing Minecraft.
Dude, I played Minecraft quite a lot for a while. And then I got really bored of it. And then whenever I tried to come back, I got in these horrible creative sinkholes where I didn't really know what to do. I really want to create a new survival guy at some point, and because there's been so many updates to the game since I last played it. I think it'd be really fun to just go back and make another survival character, single player. You know, just totally enjoying the game for what it's worth, but with all the new biomes and crafting and stuff. Like when I played, there weren't even NPC villages. There weren't even villages or trading or any of that stuff. So I think there's a lot that I'm missing out on. But,
Oh,
yeah.
there's a ton there, man. There's a lot of new recipes and all sorts of stuff now. I haven't dived in a while either. I was supposed to make a server for me and my little sister to go into, because she likes to build stuff. Like she makes sculptures. She makes.
Do you think she'd enjoy EverQuest Next?
It's not as bare bones as Minecraft is. Not bare bones. Like not as simple.
Complete.
Like it's blocks. Okay. You know, blocks is Minecraft. Like it's such an easy concept for kids to get into.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I don't think kids are gonna go away from, you know, like Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
To go to a game that's more complex. I mean, way more complex than Minecraft. You could do way more stuff.
Well, maybe eventually she'll make the transition.
Oh yeah. Probably when she gets older. Yeah. I mean, it's a few years before this game has become, you know, like EverQuest Next comes out and stuff like that. So you never know. Like, she might get into it. I'm like, oh, look at this. This is free to play. You want to try it out? Yeah, sure. And then she like gets crazy and she starts. Oh my gosh.
And then you sit there and like tense your fingers. It has begun.
It's crazy. My little sister makes the craziest things in real life with like sculpturing, and she makes fake foods better than I've seen like in stores. And I'm like, wow, she's very talented for something.
Where did she learn it?
Nowhere. She just does it. She's very
creative,
so
jealous.
Man.
You sound so jealous.
She's very.
How could she just do it? I wish I could
just
do it.
I'm very proud of her. I'm very proud of her. Yeah. So there you go.
That's quite a warm note to go out on.
Yeah.
Matt is proud of his little sister.
Very proud. My little sister. She's geeky just like me. I always like that. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of VisualWood. And stay visual.
Whitlock has no pants. You always turn my volume up as well at the end. I've noticed that.
Because you say it so
it gets
low.
like all intimate. Do I?
Yeah, you say
it's
so.
like I'm hiding from it. It's like I don't want to say it. It's squeezing out. Whitlock has no pants.
Would you wear pants? Would you not wear pants?
Would I wear? Well, I don't tend to. No.
Would you wear a shirt with Ritline has no pants the first time you meet me at PAX?
Maybe.
Or like whatever we go to.
Maybe. Yeah, it could be kind of fun.
Yeah. Maybe I should get that made and send that to you.
Oh, and then you could sell people the same thing but in a different color, and it's like I've got the original. And then eventually, when I'm like all famous, I sell it at like a charity auction. It alone, the sale of the one shirt alone, builds a hospital.
Wow!
And then I sit back all smug.
There, huh?
It's pretty famous, don't you think? I'm gonna be so famous.
Tooting your own horn there, huh?
Yeah. And I will have saved a bunch of people, so I can be all smug about it.
There
Even though I didn't spend a penny towards it.
The British PewDiePie. It needs to be there.